Good morning. Welcome into Hurrdat Sports Radio, AM 590, ESPN Omaha, ESPN Tri-Cities. We're live on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here on the Pillar Exterior stage. What's up, DB?
Yeah, good morning. How are things?
Oh, we're doing all right.
Yeah.
Getting everything situated.
Yeah, it's always a struggle.
It's
Can you imagine if we actually had any sort? Well, you may have some. I don't. But can you imagine if I was like remotely bright? It'd be a lot easier in the mornings. Just to get stuff set up.
I don't have like a great technical sense of what's going on here.
I wish I understood where SMD like plugged in the stuff.
Yeah.
Because she didn't use the that gray launch pad or whatever you call that thing with all the outlets in it.
Yeah, she's better than I am at this stuff.
Well, clearly all three of us put together.
Yeah. I'm just doing my best out here, just trying to make it.
Figure it out, make it work.
Yeah, Coach White.
That is what we're trying to do, Coach. We're trying to figure out, make it work. Just talking our way through it.
I have a question, though.
Okay, let's go for it.
No, it's not like earth-shattering. Well, how come you didn't change the channel?
Because I was trying to make sure all of our stuff was plugged in.
One thing at a time?
Yeah. We'll get to it in the break.
You just want to tell me to like chill? Yeah, I mean, you can. It's totally fine.
We just ran out of time before the show
if you
started.
Just looked at me and been like, bro, did you not just experience this setup? It's fine. I
was trying to get everything set up before we got on the air.
Like more than normal, I feel like my back's against the wall.
We did. We had to pull this thing way back yesterday to get all of our stuff plugged in.
Yeah.
And I know it's not normally like this, but I don't know how to fix it.
Do you feel like we're okay? At least nobody could walk behind us.
We could probably plug these guys into the gray deal since it's already over here and then push forward.
But I don't think we're supposed to have the gray deal.
We're not, but we're operating under less than ideal circumstances here.
Hey, whose stadium is the old gray lady?
The old gray lady.
Isn't somebody's stadium that? I don't even know.
I don't know.
It's a
I
sports
think that's
question.
what they used to call the Queen of England.
She's not gray.
I mean, she was.
Let's just go ahead and
Google the old gray lady. It sounds familiar, but I don't remember associating it with a sports stadium. You could be right, though.
Not a chance. It's too early.
Or it sounds like a boat. Like, I feel like old gray lady sounds like it would be the name of.
It's the New York Times.
Yeah, that's not a stadium.
Whatever. Okay. I feel like that's a technicality this morning.
Should I name my boat that? The old gray lady?
Should I name my boat? Who am I working with? Ravi Rockefeller over here.
I mean, it's a sailboat. It's like a yacht.
Should I name my boat? Yeah.
It sounds like a boat name, the old gray lady.
I used to name things and it had nothing to do with my boat.
I don't even know what that means.
Just dogs and stuff.
Oh.
Pets.
I do name my pets. Wife does sometimes too,
Yeah.
She's involved in the process.
Not really vibing with this
What flavor is that? What do we got here?
This is ginger citrus twist.
That sounds, I don't like ginger that much.
So I typically don't either, but this is pretty legit.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But you're not feeling it this morning?
It has some leftover IV in it.
Oh.
Can't just go mix and matching sugar-free white peach and ginger citrus.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Probably should wash that thing out a little bit.
Well, I thought it was pretty clean. When you don't turn on any lights, you leave it to chance.
That thing wet?
That thing wet?
Apparently it still was.
It's a little goopy. Little goopy.
We don't like the goop. No, not here for the goop.
No, it's a nasty word too, by the way.
Well, I mean, you brought it up.
Happy NFL morning too.
It is. We've got NFL game singular tonight.
Are you excited?
I am excited. I'm excited. 8 o'clock. We're going to do all of our NFL predictions.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it was on the rundown.
I didn't read that.
I figured. That's
fine. I know what I'm doing.
I figured.
Do I have to pick 7 teams?
No. Not all 7. You can if you want.
So
I've got.
So why are we doing the predictions if we're not going to do it correctly?
Well, I don't know. How would you like to do it?
Well, what was in the rundown?
Super Bowl matchup.
I don't like
and winner.
No.
Okay.
No.
MVP.
No.
Biggest regression.
Okay.
Biggest surprise, positive or negative.
Oh, I read that, but how come we just don't pick like
worst to first?
Can't we like start with baby steps and do division winners and wild cards?
If you'd like to.
I just can't fast forward to the Super Bowl. Do you know what it's like to process?
Sure.
It's incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
Yes.
Process like information?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
do it real time all the time.
Well, I need to go a little slower. This can't be fast forwarding to championships. Okay, it's all I could do to handle the level of excitement for Colorado.
Well, see, that's why you can take Super Bowl matchup any way you want it, right? So I can jump right to, hey, I think it's gonna be these two teams. Here's what I think is gonna win. You can be like, well, here's what I think the division winners are, and out of that, I think it's gonna go like this. See,
the regression candidate is easy.
That's why I like to leave things open ended. I think mine's gonna surprise you.
Well, I think mine is yours.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Well, I think you've told me that since I've known you. What's yours is mine, and what's yours is mine.
That's your wife, not me.
Honey.
Oh, I'm super happy.
God, I want to say so much, but I probably can't. Maybe later.
I mean, I know we're like work married here, but like we don't have the same legal obligations.
This is incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
Coming up on the show today, we are going to do some NFL predictions if DB lets me at least, and then at 8:30
I don't give much pushback.
We're going to talk to Martie Cordaro, president of Union Omaha.
You watched them on television last night?
Yeah, I got a little bit of it.
That was nice. It was a part of a doubleheader too. I didn't change the channel. I just kept it.
Yeah. Just kept on rocking.
Yeah.
They've got a big match coming up on Saturday.
Keep on rocking me. Is it lady or baby? Keep on rocking me, son.
I assumed baby, but I don't know. It could be lady.
Yeah. Can you tell that yesterday at practice, the theme, we got to play music finally? Well, this is like 2 out of the last 3 days because we got to wait for Coach Firm Pants to give us the go ahead.
Lamanji.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
And he
doesn't seem like a music at practice guy.
It depends on his mood.
He seems pretty.
Yesterday, do you know what the theme was? Based on the song I just told you?
Based on 70s rock.
80s.
I couldn't place that one.
Yeah, so I heard a lot of Warrant, Poison.
Oh, that makes sense why you're singing Sister Christian.
It was incredibly bad.
Yeah.
I looked at Coach Sikora. I said, this is arguably the worst playlist I've ever had to do. Because for some reason, and it's not because I'm black, I'm in control of the music. So everybody's always like, oh, Coach B, can we play music today? And I always have to ask.
Yeah.
But they're afraid to ask Coach Samanji, so I'm the go-between.
Okay.
And it was not good.
But you were in charge of the music.
I had to play what I was told.
Just don't release a video of your quarterback working out to that music.
That's not 80s rock, Shane.
It's
Get
like
your facts straight.
It was like in
Biden.
Yeah. Just on our staff that were like
Biden.
Yeah. One time though,
who was it? Lamanji told you to play that specifically? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying
sometimes he does. Sometimes he doesn't have like requests.
Doesn't have a preference.
It's just like whatever.
Yeah.
But sometimes
yesterday was like, if you're gonna play something, it's gonna be this.
He goes, let's go with 80s rock. And I was like, yeah, okay. Anything is better than nothing, almost. One time last year, my man said 90s R&B.
That was like your favorite thing that ever happened?
Well, it sounded like it would be awesome.
Yeah.
And then
his idea of 90s R&B and your idea?
Nope. I just go to Spotify and I go whatever clean 90s. Well, you don't have to worry about that so much with 90s R&B, but it was like I felt like I wanted some popcorn in a movie rather than practice. So even though I liked the songs, it wasn't
a good vibe for practice.
No.
Yeah, you got to turn it up a little bit more than 90s R&B gives you.
But I love the thing, sometimes lifting in the summer on Fridays is like Disco Friday. Like he has he has range.
90s R&B might be a little slow jammy for getting after it at practice,
Yeah, I mean, could you do like Cowboy Passing Period to like Motown Fiddly back again?
Sure, there's some of it you could get up to a little bit.
Yeah, you should see Nebraska's music at practice is different every day too, and sometimes it is gosh awful.
Yeah,
Can I say God awful without using the Lord's name in vain?
I sure hope so. I mean, we can get into some technicalities here if you want, but I don't know if you're.
That laugh drives me crazy when he thinks he's funnier than me. And I want to mock him like I'm 7, but I don't really.
Well, I mean, you kind of are right now.
No, sure. Yeah, he said something slick the other day before the game, so I was just like, sit on that for a while.
Yeah, you gonna be a little cranky about it?
No, that was cool. Sat bailed him out.
Sat bailed him out?
I told he was mad. I said Sat's the funnier of the two.
I think you just like Sat's sense of humor better. Like I think it sits with you better.
It does.
You like kind of that dry.
Yeah.
Sat's very like Sat would never laugh at his own jokes.
No, I could definitely go to like Chili's and have some chips and salsa with him. Tell jokes.
Me and Ryan are gonna go do that.
That's weird. Whatever this bromance you and believe me, I'm far from jealous. I don't like anybody enough to elicit those feelings, but it's kind of weird.
We should have a lot in common. We like a lot of the same stuff.
Losers like FSU.
Well, we like Nebraska too. So
you guys both like money too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people like money.
Well, see, I think that's a little bit of a misnomer. I think people respect the money, but not the person with the money sometimes.
Well, I think a lot of people like having money.
Yeah.
That's what I like. I don't care about like status or anything. I like having money.
As long as you can win money on the Ravens tonight and sell your boat.
Why would I sell my boat?
For money?
Well, no, because the money is to buy things like boats.
Oh.
I don't care about like a number in my bank account. Yeah. I like a lifestyle.
Like 21 Savage.
Wow.
He sings a song called Bank Account.
Well, I sing a song like,
I got
my
1,
guys.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 M's in my bank account. No? Too ethnic?
Not a big 21 Savage guy.
Really?
Yeah.
He's okay.
He's only okay.
For the kids.
Not about that life.
Hey.
We will embrace it.
So you're just going to let me say that I would take the Ravens tonight and not give me any pushback?
I'm not going to give a ton of pushback there.
Yeah,
the Ravens are good. I mean,
they are.
What's that number at now?
3.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because it was at 2.5, right?
Hey, Shane, is he not understanding the words that are coming out of my mouth?
4,
I didn't
6,
hear you
8,
say 3 just now.
Coach McGuire got it.
Because we were at 2.5 to open, right?
I don't know. I didn't follow it like that.
No, I guessed 2.5.
I was just
3,
listening to Canny. I was just listening to the guys this morning.
I don't have a problem if you want to take Baltimore.
Yeah, I would take Baltimore.
Interested to see what Derrick Henry looks like in that offense.
I just think if you're gonna get the Chiefs, get them now. And it's very, very weird giving a key number to Pat Mahomes at home.
It is weird.
2.5 was criminal.
It also feels strange to bet against Pat Mahomes.
Don't they have Harrison Butker?
But Harrison Buttkisser?
But however you pronounce it.
Butker.
Yes, I think something is silent.
Bucher? But it's not butter. I know that. So the K is not silent.
But there's a J in there, isn't there? Or is it a T? Are you sure?
Yeah, it's Butker, I think.
Oh, TK. You just want to say TK, didn't you?
No, I was just spelling. I think it's Butker.
I like the Ravens.
All right. Why do you like the Ravens?
I just planned the line.
Oh, for where the number's at, you like the Ravens?
Yep. Pretty easy.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't even have to overthink it.
I mean, you might as well. You got time.
No, I'm at Holy Ghost tonight.
Doing a little film study?
Yes.
On UTEP, or what are you watching?
I'm bailing Stephen M. Sipple out because he had a snafu, and so he called in a panic.
Sip.
But he said he would trade me trick-or-treat night.
Halloween?
Yeah. Because I'm on Halloween way in October.
I drove there shirtless.
I got 2 schedule changes. I had to change that one with SIP, and then Nebraska Public Media for Big Red Wrap-Up. Debate night is like October 8th, so they have to pre-record. And I can't get there at 6 because
practice.
Yep. So
talk about practice.
I had to flip-flop.
I think one of my buddies was at, I don't know, were you there yesterday, a couple days ago, whenever they filmed last?
I was not this week.
Okay. I had a buddy, the guy that
I think Matty was. I think Matty Davison.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the guy that did my wedding photography was down there for some reason. I have no idea if he was taking pictures of somebody or what, but
yeah,
he's a good dude.
He gave Jay a 1890 quarter zip.
Yeah.
I see it a lot. Big fan.
We should get some 1890 quarter zips. Rep the collective. Let's go.
The full disclosure story.
Matty, help us out here.
Like I was like, hey, do you have such and such size? He's like, hey, we're running thin because I like the quarter zip vest and I like the nylon hat. And he's like, I know you like quarter zips, but I have this size and this size. And I was like, shoot, I'm kind of an adult. I can't wear that. So of course,
too small.
Yeah, and he didn't we're in the same general vicinity. He's probably like 300 yards away from me. And I'm sitting down. So apparently at some point he must have seen Jay and was like, here, you want this? I was like, it's weird. I just get left out a lot of that stuff.
Well, he had a size that she wanted.
Yeah, kind of like, yeah. I think I'm going to tailgate with you guys. I missed that memo. Did you just skip the middle, man?
You're busy. What are you going to do?
I don't know. Certainly not talk to anybody in my household. That's kind of the way it goes.
I mean, you'll come tailgate with us?
Fudge. Heck no.
I know how much you like people and crowds. And
I'm working.
That's right. You're working. You got stuff to do.
Yeah. I mean, nothing like starting the 2:30 pregame with 2:30 kickoff slates.
Yeah.
I work hard.
I gotta text Sharpie. I'm like, you have got to get to the studio early and get these games on, because I don't think anybody can run the TVs.
Yeah.
It's a new system, man. And you see me in here, I just struggle. I wish I wasn't so dumb, because like if I would like just spend 20 minutes trying to learn, I could probably do things on my own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, there's
but why do things on your own when you have friends?
Apparently there's I heard a story about Steph Curry that whenever he's at his house and he's trying to figure something out, they have to give him 5 minutes before they help him do it, so he can try and figure it out. Because he's like, otherwise it would be really easy for me. He's like, because he's got $500 million. He's like, it's really easy for me to never be able to do anything.
Yeah.
So he's like, he's got a 5-minute rule.
So what's my excuse being boring? Still can't do anything. Just lack of want to.
I don't know. Well, maybe we should put a 5-minute DB rule in.
We would have never learned how to turn the TVs on. Remember that debacle?
Yeah.
Couldn't even light the goddamn iPad up.
Well, we got the iPad. We'll turn it.
In full disclosure, the buttons aren't aligned correctly.
No, they're not with the like rubber casing deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little off.
Shay must really think I'm special, because that text he sent this morning with stuff being in front of the door. I wanted to just say, hey, I can move it. It's fine. Hey, there's a lot of stuff in front of the door. Just a heads up. I'm like, does he think I'm like
I think no
an invalid?
So I think because it was.
Can I say that it's 2024?
No.
Maybe.
I really don't. I don't know if that one is.
It's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't. But I think so. He explained it when I came in. It was dark when he got here, so we didn't really see it, and so we didn't want us to trip on it if it was still dark when we got here.
As low to the ground as you're built, you tripped over that, Shane? You ain't gonna fall
I did.
You're not gonna fall very
Yeah,
far.
but fall's a fall.
He's like Maurice Jones-Drew. He's got that low center of gravity.
I do not like him as an analyst.
Did you like him as a running back?
No.
He's a little muscle hamster.
Didn't fit. No, that would be the other guy in
That
Tampa.
was Doug Martin.
Yeah, who hated that nickname, by the way.
That's why I gave it to somebody else. He didn't want it anymore.
I'm not like, that's not my jam.
That type of guy?
No.
Not smooth enough?
Nope, just no.
Were you a Darren Sproles guy?
I like Sproles a little bit.
Or did you just hate all short running backs?
You know who I really like?
Who?
This is weird because he plays in the wrong conference for the wrong team, and they're always good. But Frazier is nice. Nate Frazier in Georgia. I love the 1 foot in the ground, get vertical kind of thing.
You don't like guys that dance?
I mean, that's kind of general, but I'm not a 2-foot jump cut guy. Some people can make it work.
That's very specific.
Not really. It's a style.
I get it, but like it's
it just doesn't. I don't know. I don't like having both feet on the ground at the same time. Typically.
So you'd be a terrible race walker.
Yeah, people that do that I kind of admire though. Because if you've been, I'm a fairly brisk walker.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
But certainly not a fast walker.
Yeah.
But I do get to where I'm going.
Yeah.
But there's like Severe and those guys.
Severe's on another level.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
I'm like,
he might as well be jogging.
I'm like, you're doing this intentionally.
Oh yeah, 100% he is.
Why not just walk with your friend though?
I think you're making some assumptions there about how Severe feels about people.
That's a good point. Dude was at the parking garage, and I'm like at the track at the stadium. I'm like, this guy cleared 150 yards distance between the two of us on a 400-yard walk.
And you used to be the running back.
I was mad.
You got to pick it up.
I'm like, why am I putting this backpack on one shoulder? I should put it on both and just like bust it.
Yeah.
Because you can't walk cool and just be a one shoulder guy. I had to put that thing on like
you're a little kid going to school.
Yeah. Like I'm some of these coaches on the sidelines looking ridiculous.
Wasn't Sat wearing a backpack?
I don't want to get into it.
That was your guy.
I don't want to get into it.
You don't want to hate on your guy?
That was really, really good to see.
He took it off when he got to the booth.
Well, sure.
By the way, that booth next to me is completely revamped.
Yeah, they redid it?
There's probably 5 different coaches in there than there was a year ago.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's pretty interesting.
Is it crowded? Do they have enough room?
If I didn't want to infringe on like boundaries, I would ask why or what's the
like who's doing what?
Yeah, because you could tell it's totally a process where there's a method to the madness. So now I'm looking at strategically how guys are, and I'm like
trying to figure out who's. And
it's like the 4th different kind of setup I've seen since the beginning of last year. And I really like how they ended last year after they brought Sat upstairs.
Yeah,
but it's different. Like you can tell they have more brain power.
Yeah,
and I think they situationally figured out who they want where. Because I actually think, and I said this about the headsets, there's something to that
about being able to know like how to use them.
Like who you want,
who's talking.
Yeah, because it's not as.
That's why I asked the question about whether it would be Sad or Glenn Thomas or whoever, right? Because I know a lot of people just assume
there's definitely something to it.
It's the play caller. And it's like, well, maybe. I mean, if play caller and QB coach, it's not like Glenn Thomas isn't also the co-OC, right?
Yeah. He is so cool pregame.
Well, and he's like,
I mean,
so chill.
Yes. That's what I was just getting ready to say, like icy cool.
That's kind of why I thought that might be the guy you want in your quarterbacks here.
So were you down did you go down pregame?
No.
How'd you know? You just watched him?
Yeah, I mean, everything he does, I didn't see him specifically pregame.
Oh, but
I just meant his general demeanor.
Just like
I noticed it honestly the most at
that's a good call
at the open practice because he was mic'd up for a while.
Yeah,
and it was all just like very simple to the point.
He's a smart,
yes,
laid back cat.
Yes.
Like that's a guy you probably want talking to those cerebral quarterbacks.
Yeah, and that's why I was like, maybe that's who you want in your ear because it's very.
My man had his arms folded, just kind of like surveying the thing. I was like, I want to be that cool.
I like Glenn Thomas a lot.
I'd have to take a chill pill.
I'm drawn to his demeanor.
It's a little strong. It's kind of weird. This is Harlequin romance.
We're not doing like man crushes yet. I just like him. Welcome back to Hurrdat Sports Radio, AM 590, ESPN Omaha, ESPN Tri-Cities. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. You know, Tony White and Coach Rule both kind of did the same thing with the sacks and the turnovers. Where
they lobbied to.
Yeah, where they're like,
hey, that safety should count as a turnover, right?
Which I get his point.
It's it should be.
Because I mean, they made a defensive play and they got the ball back because of that defensive play, and it wasn't. Like I get they technically punted it, but they got points out. Like it feels like more of a turnover than it does a 3-and-out.
You know what's funny is what did Ty Robinson say to us in Indianapolis?
Oh, you want to get more sacks?
Yeah, that's the first time he and he was good. Don't get me wrong, but it's the first time he got squirmy in his seat.
Yeah,
he's like, yeah, I definitely want more sacks, man. It's kind of pissing me off.
Like,
I only
had more plays.
Yeah, I was like, you want that sack, don't you, Ty? Don't you, T-Rob?
Or as we've come to affectionately know him, Big Ass Ty Robinson.
Man, listen, this dude,
he's enormous.
There was a part in the third quarter, and considering how close they are to us, it's easy to see. But we had Jessica down there, and her mic was open, so I could hear what he was saying. Because she was like, I don't know if she was getting a pep talk in the huddle too, but I mean, she was right on it, which is cool about having her on the sidelines because she's not afraid to mix it up. But he called that defense over before they started to substitute and talked about the standard being the standard. And he had I felt like it was one of those cool things that happens before rugby where everybody kind of gets together in sync.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, if attitude reflects leadership, captain, I'll take that because he wanted them to know, don't drop off. And he called them over before everybody went out, even though he knew that the top unit was going to shut it down.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot.
We saw that from Giff in the Chasing 3 as well.
Hey, listen, he's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like him.
That dude, yeah, he
stays mad.
Just I don't think he can function unless he keeps it petty.
Yeah.
He doesn't like barely anything or anyone.
You know, it's a weird comparison that I think of like that is I think like that's how like Pat Beverly operates.
Pat Bev.
Which I don't like Pat Bev.
What you got on my Bev, Ravi? What you got on my Bev?
I'm not a fan.
That's what the kids say.
Oh, I have no idea what kids say. I try not to spend any time with them at all.
Well,
Selfish.
it's fine.
Yes, that's why I don't have kids, because I'm selfish.
That's fine.
I like my own stuff.
I don't really like that answer, but that's fine.
I mean, how would I know what kids say?
I don't know.
I don't know. Apparently, there's something called skibbity out there. I don't know what that is.
Who?
Skibbity? I see it on TikTok, and I'm like, that sounds like you made that up just to
Is
make.
Does it anybody that looks like what do you mean skibbity? Who's saying that?
I don't know. Apparently, children.
Like,
whoa.
okay, let's be a little more specific. Like 6 to 8, like 16 to 18. Who's saying skibbity?
Like middle school, high school.
Okay. All right.
That's what the TikTok tells me. I don't know, because I avoid children like the plague.
I don't know.
The bubonic,
including ones related to me. I'm just like, nah, I'm good.
I know you think chronic, but I just mean bubonic like the plague.
Yeah. I'm not like Snoop Dogg or like Dre is the chronic, right?
I don't recognize what you're saying.
Dre, that's the name of his like big album is The Chronic, right?
I don't even recognize
it was really
doing.
good.
Yeah.
We would not be playing that at practice.
No?
Nope.
Lamonji's not a big The Chronic guy?
Nope. Had to turn off some Lil Uzi Vert because Millard North was there for tennis and it was too loud.
Listen, you gotta be respectful of those tennis players.
Dude, I watched some of those guys hit balls.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Your tennis coach actually hooked me up the other day.
Dude, he's fantastic.
Oh, it was a lady.
He seems like it's two.
Yeah.
Low-key cool.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like most high school tennis coaches I've run into are like pretty chill. Like they're not bad.
yeah, I don't know.
She was cool though, because I was confused when you talked about.
Hey, she would beat your brains in too, by the way.
I'm sure she would. That's fine.
It's like, wow.
But you know how you talked about the parking over at Westside?
Yeah.
I thought you meant the parking lot was under construction. So when I saw it wasn't, I was like, oh,
It is.
not that back one.
Between the visitor section and the baseball field, you can't go in there.
Right. But the lot, I thought you meant the lot
Over by the
itself.
tennis court?
Yes.
Or the one in front of the building, because both those are open. I mean the one in the back where visitors would park.
Where you used to park.
Yeah, that's my jam.
So
That's where all the coaches park.
right. So I thought you meant the one in front of the tennis courts, because that's where I would always park last year. And then I saw it open. I was like, oh, I'm good. But you can't get
So
through
you've
there.
always parked there?
Yeah, always in the back by the tennis courts, because it's a straight shot to the field right there.
Yeah, now you can't get through with the construction.
And so the tennis coach, she was like, you try to get the football game? And I was like, yeah. She's like, you can't get over here at all. And so she let me in the building and walked
Oh,
me
you walk through. Yeah, that's
building.
so those doors down there,
Mhm.
That's where I spend most of my time. That's the special ed wing.
Yes.
I mean, I don't mean that because that's
No,
where I
no.
learn. I mean, because
That's like,
that's
where-
my baby.
yeah,
And-
that's your specialty.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I know.
And Journey's over there, and they're on like Jay's caseload and stuff like that. That's that wing right there.
Although I will say, I don't know what you guys got going on. Walking by that locker room was one of the worst smells in my life.
It's incredible.
I don't know what's happening there.
The poor volleyball players, they come out at the same time sometimes, and they're like, "Oh my God, boys stink."
No,
I'm like,
it does
she
stink.
sounds like Zoe.
It smells real bad over
It's
there.
awful. So we have fan.
I get
we
it's
have
just like
fans and
40
we
years of whatever, right?
sanitize, and it's trifling.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's foul.
I was like, oh, because I had to stop for a second because I got there about the same time you guys were walking out.
Yeah.
And so I stopped for a second and you guys got out, whatever. And so I was just sitting in it for a minute. I was like, oh, God, that's rough.
A couple more weeks of being nice, you may get some mayor status. They may just give you a swipe card.
Probably not.
Beep.
Probably not.
Maybe.
They probably listen and be like, that dude hates kids.
Well, you got Lamonji.
Maybe.
You got Lamonji, fool.
I've never even talked to Lamonji hardly.
He didn't mind talking to you, so that's a start.
Hey, that's a plus. Maybe it's because I didn't talk to him too much. He's like, I like that guy. He's quiet.
It's very particular. Put it to you like that.
I think I saw him at like a quick trip or something once.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't think he knows who I am enough to say anything to him. Also, he looked like a guy. I was like, he doesn't want to small talk.
Listen, so I'm not going to put our staff out there, but I'm just going to tell you how we operate.
Yeah.
So it's after the meetings yesterday at practice, and we're sitting around at the table, and we always set the schedule and what do we want to work on. And he said, well, it's like not a bad day today. The only BCDs I heard, which is blame, complain, deflect,
Mhm.
right? We just tackle that to keep the culture, whatever. He said was from the coaches. So Coach Blank, let's get that on the table. What are your thoughts? And it was like Oh, like you talk about accountability.
Yeah.
Like that's exactly
Real time.
That's exactly how he is. So all of a sudden, everybody kind of set up.
Yeah.
Like, damn, glad he didn't say my name.
Yep.
Yeah. Don't be don't be that dude. BCD. He hit us with BCDs like we weren't grown-ups.
Well,
Yeah.
if you're not acting like grown-ups, you don't get treated like grown-ups. That's kind of how it works.
No BCDs. No BCD.
Lance, hold on a second here. We've only got about 90 seconds, so I don't want to cut you off because last time I did that,
he got mad.
He got a little cranky about it. So we're gonna take you to the top of the next segment rather than trying to fit you in with a minute left here and have you be mad about me cutting you off for whatever reason.
Man, you guys only gave me 30 seconds.
I'm sure he's got lots to say about that Fresno game. See how that goes.
Nah,
That's not true.
Or he's just moving on to Texas.
Well, hey.
Think he's just rolling right on?
I don't understand that line, but I do understand the total.
What's the line on that one? I haven't even looked.
7, maybe.
What's that?
I think
that seems low.
Man, I was gonna say don't ask me, but it's my job to know. I feel like I should, but I think the total is right around like 45 or 46. It's 7.5 now.
Thank you, DB.
That seems low.
Yeah, but the total has come way down. It opened at 44.5. It is now down to 42.5.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I just don't know how Michigan's going to score.
I don't either. So what's the implied score there? 7.5 at 42.5. You're talking
24-17.
Yeah. Yeah. That's plausible because we were trying to get to 44 earlier in the week, and we're like, I'm not sure how we got there.
I don't know how Texas is going to get to 20. They're explosive.
Yeah.
But Michigan is way good defensively. Maybe they turn it over.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Orgy's very good.
I don't think either of them are very good.
At least one guy can throw.
That does help, as we've seen here in Nebraska.
Yeah.
Having a guy that can throw is a helpful thing to have in a quarterback.
Like Hy-Vee, with a smile in the eye, it's pretty helpful.
I do smile when we're able to throw the football. Does that count?
Yes.
Coming up next, we've got more Hurrdat Sports Radio. Wrapping up hour number 1 here on Hurrdat Sports Radio, AM 590, ESPN Omaha, ESPN Tri-Cities. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here on the Pillar Exterior Stage. We're going to get to Michigan. Lance wants to talk a little college football.
Let's go, baby.
Lance, what's going on, bud? Okay, cool.
All right, Timmy Krabby Pants.
I mean, I'd only talked about taking Lance's call in the last segment, and then I tried to stretch out that intro.
Oh, I like that.
Into Lance as long as I could.
Do you know what I think about that?
But he had to play his funny drops instead.
Yeah, whatever.
With his funny vibe or Southern vibes, whatever. DB doing the high-pitched falsetto Southern vibes voice, whatever that is.
Let's go, baby.
Okay. Lance, would you like to talk about football?
Well, good morning, boys. You think I turned into Brian Kelly or something when he first got to LSU?
Wow.
You think I'm talking with a Southern drawl now?
Or Kamala Harris for that matter.
I think.
Dude, the pretend.
What is she now?
The pretend dialects are killing me. But anyway,
don't they need to stop?
Yeah, like knock it off. Cut it.
You gonna be like Brian Kelly and have some fake outrage like he had on Saturday, or?
Yeah, that
Sunday?
was horrible. But that guy, I liked him. I don't know what I feel.
He's a great coach. It's just what comes with it. It's just what comes with it.
Yeah, it's like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like
you should have just merch.
Yeah,
great coach, tough hang.
Yeah, man. What? What'd you say?
Brian Kelly.
Tough what?
Tough hang. Tough hang.
Oh, okay. All right. I don't know what that means.
Tough to hang out with. It's just like tough to be around.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
He says about kids. Kids are a tough hang.
Yeah, if it's a tough hang, it's somebody you don't necessarily spend a lot of time around.
Yeah, that's funny.
Okay.
Great coach, tough hang.
Yeah, that's wild.
That is
DB,
tough.
congratulations on your win last week, buddy.
Thank you. It was ugly, but we don't get style points early on. I appreciate that.
Man, you guys don't get preseason games either in spring ball, so it's gonna look like that.
Yeah.
When you ain't put on pads in 12 months.
Bro, we had 13 penalties.
I think that was going around, wasn't it? Well, how many did North have?
Less than us. That's all I care about.
You both had less than 10? Central.
Did they have 12? Yeah, I heard about those guys. I heard it was a yellow laundry party over there.
Yeah. That
was tough loss. Hey man, special teams, man. I see they lost by 1 point. I assume somebody missed the extra point.
So I think they were a little gunshot. Either the cramps got to them and they didn't want to take it to overtime, or the fact that their kicker had just missed a 31 and a 35-yarder. So back to
they went for 2 for the win?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I got you. Hey, man, shout out to Coach Alan Burrell over there at Millett North, man.
Oh, that's Ravi's guy. Maybe you guys can bond. Would you like a campfire and s'mores? So
Roll Stangs, baby. Let's go.
Here we go.
Hey, you're alumni, right?
That's right,
Ravi.
That's my guy.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So 6 degrees of separation here. He has cousins down here, a father-son, and the son plays for us. So that's my connection, and I got to meet him this summer. Actually, at the 7-on-7 thing. Ravi, I met you too, but I don't think you knew who I was.
I did not realize that was you. I apologize.
Yeah, I figured that. No, it's okay. Well, we never met, so it's okay. I get it.
Oh, Michigan Lance here for Grace. That's nice.
I figured it out later, and I felt bad. I was like, "Oh, that was Lance."
Oh no,
but DB was acting foolish, so I had to my distraction.
He was mad. He was mad until I explained that you had never met him before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he called to let me have it.
That was crazy.
And I was trying to keep DB out of trouble that day, so you know.
Yeah, he almost got me into something like, dude, I'm out of town on vacation. What are you about to get me fired 1,000 miles away? Stop. What are you doing?
That wasn't even my fault.
That's why I'm giving you a hard time.
I'm not saying it was.
So I'm giving you a hard time.
I'm talking about the person with the reaction. I'm not the person with the action.
Oh, you want
like I tell every kid, every action doesn't deserve a reaction.
Wow.
So,
Isaac Newton disagrees.
Michigan Lance here for slapping DB's wrist. That's fine. That's fine.
Hey, man, I hope my boys in Blue Michigan can find a quarterback because I'm not liking what I'm seeing right now. It doesn't look good.
How many points will you have to hold Texas to win? 17?
Yeah.
14?
Yeah, I would say yes. I definitely would say. I would say more between the 17 to 20 range.
Listen. I'm just telling you, you're not scoring 20.
I know, man.
So you can miss me with that. Michigan is not. They are not scoring 20 against Texas. Texas is not only good defensively, you guys are atrocious offensively.
Oh, I know. Like, and I don't know why they went with that quarterback as a starter. I'm just like,
I think.
All right, let's go.
I think people understand why he's taking it like he's not closing the door on a true quarterback competition even in season.
Right. I definitely can see that. I'm hoping to see like a little bit more Orji or Orji even getting the start this week. I'm wondering if this is going to be like a back and forth thing, but we'll see.
He even this is petty, but you know how I am about the way people look. He even puts his gear on. He dresses like a running back.
You talking about Orji?
Yes.
Hey, this is who I compare him to.
He looks wearing that 10. He looks like Joseph Adai. That's what I think.
He does, and he does look like that. He does. But hey,
I thought you were gonna say Jamal Lord.
Well, no, not at all. He was like 6'8", wasn't he? I mean, no.
I'm Team Lord.
Jamal Lord was very tall. But hey, man, Tebow looked like a tight end, so all I need him to do is play like Tebow. Hey, man, run the ball well and give us a couple good throws. It's college football. You don't need to be an NFL quarterback in college.
I just don't think you can do that anymore. I don't.
You don't think you can do it anymore?
They tried it in Arkansas with KJ. I think that I don't know, man. You could talk me off of this if we really got into the nitty gritty, but you just have to make about 6 or 7 throws a game that are big boy throws. If you can't play. So
I agree.
You just can't. The game is guys are too athletic on the perimeter, and DBs are really good now. Like you can't. You're right. Tebow, this is a hot take, right? In 2024 in September, Tebow couldn't play. Tebow couldn't play today.
You think so?
No, you have to throw the ball better. Like the 4.4 yards per carry in the quarterback run game, he would get no. There's no way. No way.
What about one of Michigan?
You're right because you don't see it.
You just don't.
What about like a Denard Robinson?
Yeah, same thing. Same.
He threw a little better than Tebow, I thought.
Yeah, he did. I agree with that.
And he was explosive.
He
with
was
the run game.
way more explosive.
Well, that's what I mean.
Most definitely.
So rather than like
Denard,
a fullback,
could probably get away with it. Yeah,
Tebow was like a fullback, but Denard was explosive, right? So
I mean, could Nick Marshall and Mason or Slayton and who's my lefty?
Pat White?
Yeah,
no, he wasn't a lefty.
Yes, he was. Pat White. Could they?
Oh, he was. Okay, yeah.
Could they play without being able to throw the ball?
No,
I just don't think so.
But hold on, DB. There's still a lot of space. There's still a lot of grass out there.
There is. I'm with you. And the RPO is a real thing, but you still have to be accurate.
Yeah.
True.
So it depends on I think it depends on. I mean, not to get it too into the weeds here, but I think it depends on what you mean when you say big boy throws. Because I think there are throws you have to be able to make
just for instance, like I go back to Bellevue West and Centrals the other night.
Mm-hmm.
There were some RPO things that were there for one of the teams, and they were just errant throws.
Yeah.
Even in high school, if you don't complete
high school, you're right.
Even if you don't complete those throws in high school, it's hard offensively because coaches
I agree with that, DB.
Coaches are too good now.
Yeah,
they just are.
You're right.
Well, I mean, we saw speaking of Miller North, we saw it happen kind of at Miller North where like that,
and that's at the high school level. In college, it's even more magnified.
Yeah, but I guess so. When you say big boy throws in a college
I'm not discouraging you. I just don't think you're going to score.
No. I like you. No, I am agreeing with you. Like big boy throws, what he's talking about is, and I agree, man. Like you have to make like third down throws. You got to get first down. So, and now, however that looks.
So you mean more like big boy situations?
So yes, that's what I think, DB. I don't know about. I mean,
that's
in high school level for sure.
That's fine, but I mean, even when it was 2nd and 30 for Nebraska against UTEP, right? Mm-hmm. It's not a daunting opponent, but the two completions were over the middle. These little little square in routes, like that's big boy stuff. We'll poo-poo.
I'm with you.
We'll poo-poo it because it was UTEP, but those balls were caught between the hashes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Don't look at the opponent. Most definitely, I'm with you on that. Look at yourself and see how that looks. Most definitely.
You know, and they got the little sit down on the comeback outside the numbers, but even that's a big boy throw.
So I understand. Like, so when I hear big boy throw, I think of like, okay, from opposite hash to the side, like one of those really. Like I'm talking about big boy.
It's not so
NFL
much the type of throw as much as situationally.
Okay. That's why I asked.
Yeah. That's why I said the situation.
When I hear big boy throw, I think of like NFL arm throw.
Second and 30.
Yeah.
3rd and 6.
Yeah. Sure.
Like it's not so much.
Yeah. Okay, I'm vibing with you.
I mean, I listened to a coach, and listen, Coach Parker he's a genius, right? There's no question in Iowa City, and we were just going through data on throws we wouldn't consider big boy throws, swings and balls in the flats.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you'd be amazed at the low completion percentage, even though they're gimme throws.
I mean, we've seen that in Nebraska forever.
So he's like, Benning, we don't go ahead. Nobody's willing to make a living doing that. We're willing to concede that. And I'm like, and as an offensive guy, you'd say, why wouldn't you just take the gimme throws? Because nobody don't complete them. They don't complete them.
We saw Raiola do it in the spring game, and we were like, oh, my God, he completed a swing pass. Lance, good luck this weekend. We appreciate the call. We'll be back with more Hurrdat Sports Radio coming up next. Kicking off hour number 2 here on Hurrdat Sports Radio, AM 590, ESPN Omaha, ESPN Tri-Cities. We're live on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill, and reminding you, if you're driving right now, make sure you get out and click your seatbelt. It prevents injuries and saves lives. Only if it's worn properly. Make it click. This message from the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Remember 2 weeks ago when I said there's a guy that I referenced, but I'll wait to bring him up until next week?
Sure.
That was Ramir Stewart.
Yes. You mentioned him off air to me.
Yep. In the spring.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, hey, keep an eye on
Ramir Stewart.
And I told the story about, that was during Ramadan.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can give backstory to this.
Yeah.
Cool thing is you're not getting this anywhere else. So I'm obviously at practice, and I came back and I told you, I said, you know who kind of flashed?
Mm-hmm.
And I even said it on air because I remember Jim in Minnesota was like, Ramir Stewart, that's interesting. And I said, yeah, I said, he flashed. He really gets down into the box. So the thing that, like, the evolution is coverage isn't this thing. I mean, that ball was laid over the middle, and it's a great play.
Yeah.
Right? You undercut it.
You got to be in a position to make the play.
Not always going to get that because you got to be in position. But anyway, I say all that to say, it was during Ramadan and it's spring. And so I kind of asked, I'm like, gosh, because he's one of those guys I felt like would kind of get fat shamed.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a very open topic. Okay. So Ramadan's going on and he's got to eat early. And I told you this off air, like, he's married with a family.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So his lifestyle is different.
Sure, 100%.
It's just different.
Yeah, that's how it is.
And so when I said what I said during the spring, and then he kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
Right? Because all I just heard a lot of, weight this and got to get in shape that and, fat this. Like, the word fat was used, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, ooh. But that's kind of... It's a thing because they address those things head on.
Mm-hmm.
Those DEX scans, the body fat, the way you look, the body type, like, they're not afraid, right? You heard Coach Rule poke fun at himself in the presser.
Yeah.
Me challenging Ramir about his weight, pot, meat, kettle.
Mm-hmm.
Why does Coach Rule work out the way he does? Because he wants to practice what he preaches. Okay, so... But then time went on, and he wasn't in the 105. And this is the God's honest truth. I felt like for the second time in 5 years, like, my evaluation, and I'm not always going to be right, but I'm just being honest I'm like, fudge, my evaluations kind of sucks. I thought Ramir was really, really, really good coming out of high school, and he had this trait and this trait and this trait, and he wasn't playing. I was like, did I miss on a running back? Like, that doesn't happen often.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was thinking about Ramir Stewart, and I was like, I don't know. Maybe he just had a good 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
Was what I was thinking in my head because...
Which can happen.
You're right. You can get on a heater.
Yeah, like that can
right?
happen.
Like, they do have a couple... they
have a couple guys that can flash. Can't do it every day.
But I don't think they can win with.
Yeah. Or that they have a hard time doing it every day.
So they're currently those guys still,
that's
right?
A real thing.
That's a real thing.
Yeah.
So I was thinking to myself, gosh, I must have been way off.
Mm-hmm.
But then obviously saying more in camp and coming back and knowing, because I think some placeholders are a little strong, but I do think there are guys playing that they know long-term we just want to get by if we can. If we can't, then we'll do this. But for now, let's just do this. Because that's how you have to think about roster construction. So
specifically, like with the 2 deep,
right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Right. So, I'm kind of watching this, and I'm like, oh, there he is.
Mm-hmm. On Saturday, you mean?
No.
Oh, okay.
A guy Bruntz. I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah.
Bruntz sent me a text. Because I talked to Bruntz, like, I like the guys that I trust, like, we can have off, we can talk about other things, right? So I like Bruntz. And he said, oh, so at practice, it was interesting to see Ramir Stewart doing Ramir Stewart things.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember what I said to him, like, in my head, I was like, well, he's very capable.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because I remember when I came back and I told you, I said, keep an eye on 32. Like, you're like, Ramir Stewart. Like, I think he can play.
I was surprised when you said it.
I just don't know how sustainable it is.
Can he do it every day?
For him.
Yeah.
Which is the next thing. Because what we've seen so far that I really, really like, and Coach Satterfield said it, and we just kind of poo-pooed it. You could be with the 1s one day and the 3s the next.
Mm-hmm.
You could be with 2s one day and the 4s the next. You could be with the 4s one day and the 2s the next.
We kind of assume he's like coach speaking, right?
It's not coach speak, though.
That's what we assume, though.
Right.
I think we sit here and we go like, oh, he's trying to make sure they stay on top of it. But he's like, the 1s are the 1s. And I don't think outside of a couple positions, I think
every day matters.
Yeah.
Every day matters.
Like
you'll see guys, like you'll see some. I don't know how much attention people pay to like the personnel on like special teams, but you'll see guys on special teams now this week that like won jobs in practice. As long as you're doing things like that, you're going to keep everybody engaged if you have a competitive roster. So, like all those little things matter. They do.
I think there's
and not everybody's story is the same, right? Family, child, married
with a family is a whole different situation than
it just is
a true freshman coming in.
It just is different responsibilities.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and frankly, different priorities too. You have to.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like, I'm glad. But consistency is always going to be the thing. And what can you do long term? And the thing that I like about this week in Coach Butler, and I was saying this to Avery in our preview, and she asked a good question. It's like, okay, what am I banking? Like, what's the secret sauce or what's the X factor? I like schematically the opportunity for Butler and White and Dvorak and Knighton to put something together against a team that doesn't seem to want to run the ball or have quarterback run game. And who better than to know about that than a coach that watched a quarterback function at a high level with elite level talent outside the numbers without a running back until the emergence of James Cook. That would be Josh Allen.
Yeah.
So can Nebraska, in however long that they're doing Colorado prep, schematically, look, how do we stop those over routes? How do we stop those sail routes? Those are long developing routes. Do we want to bail? Do we want to give ground? Do we want to not chase? Like, there's lots of things that they can do that can game plan for a team that does not want to run the football. So that's, for me, that's the X factor, but it's hard to talk about because I'm talking schematics.
Yeah.
And not everybody, sometimes it's boring radio, right? Like,
I don't know if it's boring radio. I think some people have a hard time following it real time, like as you talk about it, right?
Just generally speaking, a staff putting together a game plan for a pass-heavy offense that runs almost the same concepts all the time. You're allowing smart people to be smart because I'm not sure you're going to give them enough variance to keep them off balance. Now, Nebraska still has to be able to come out and execute it, though.
Yes.
Right? Because
against good players.
Because it's new. It will be relatively new for them if they implement what
you think they might.
Yeah, because everybody's got a game plan.
Yeah.
I always use Bellevue West because that's an offense that drives me crazy. Right? And we thought we had a game plan for Glantz. Right? Oh, we'll do this. This is cute. It's new. And then what did Glantz do? Well, he scrambled.
Yeah, just took off.
And he ran the ball.
Yeah.
And we couldn't pull him up. And then it's like,
that didn't work.
Poop. Right? But a couple years later, we come back with a new variation, and their quarterback doesn't want to run the ball.
Right.
So he doesn't look very good.
Yeah.
But he's got a knife in a gunfight, right? Like, you're just outnumbered.
Yeah.
And because you won't take advantage of this,
of the thing that you're giving him.
Yeah.
Right.
We did it to Miller North, right? Miller North liked to count. So we went to an even front and we split it down the middle. Now you have to count. Now there's a couple things that we were willing to give up. They didn't want to do it, so we didn't have to change.
Yeah.
So they didn't score a rushing touchdown for like 3 straight games. But we knew what we were willing to concede.
Yeah.
Right. You just have to trust it. So if Nebraska can trust it, even though they'll have to play a little different in the secondary, because they have some tendencies. But if they're willing to evolve, you can give Colorado fits. You can give those good receivers fits if they can pull it off. And that's what I want to see.
And John Butler seems capable of
he's so stinking
of executing that. Or putting that plan in place.
But again, right? It doesn't matter how much a coach knows.
Right. He's capable of putting the plan in place.
It doesn't matter how much a coach knows unless you're capable of executing it. So guys are going to have to play differently.
Yeah. Let's get to Kurt on the Hurrdat hotline here. Wants to talk a little Arkansas. What's going on, Kurt?
Kurt in Arkansas. What's up, Kurt?
Not much. Just got out of deer stand early and decided to give you guys a call on my way to Hastings.
Whoa.
Hey, DB.
Yes.
Everybody's been talking about this, that, and the other thing about what we should do, and this and about Colorado. I haven't heard anybody talk about the key. One of the keys, in my opinion, is can our corners be physical with Horn and Hunter?
Yeah.
Because you don't ever see anybody bumping those guys or knocking the crap out of them off the line of scrimmage because they're afraid they'll get burnt deep.
Yep. That's definitely part of it. And so Nebraska, they kind of play what I would call like a mugging style. Like they like to play like that.
Right.
So we'll see what they're willing to concede, because most of Colorado's passing games so far is getting vertical. Well,
right.
So it doesn't make much sense to play them like that to get up and be snug if they're getting vertical anyway. Now, will Colorado show some sort of capability of like quick game or something like that where you have to be kind of snug? Maybe, but it doesn't. I understand what you're saying, but if guys are going to try to get vertical anyway, it doesn't do me a ton of good to get as close as I can to them. So I don't know if you'll see that on Saturday either. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, when I was working with Coach Kelly, we played a lot of teams that ran a similar style offense to what Colorado runs now. And we had receivers, always played against receivers that wanted to get vertical on us because we were smaller. But what we tried to do, heck, I only had 2 guys over 200 pounds playing on defense, and we won state championship. But what we tried to do is disrupt their rhythm at the line of scrimmage to give our guys a chance to feast on the quarterback.
Yeah. So that's the other part of it, right? Can you get home? Right. So Nebraska tried that a couple of times, and I appreciate the call, Kurt. Nebraska tried that a couple of times last year, right? And they got caught peeking in the backfield. They got hit with because Colorado's like the king of those over routes, where it's like bottom of the numbers to far hash, and it looks like 2 big rainbows.
That takes a long time, though.
Right? So they were willing to concede the 7 sacks, but if you want to trail and chase, there's potential for some big plays. So it's like, what are you willing to give up in the meantime, and can your D-line get home? And unless Colorado wants to run the ball, they're going to allow Nebraska to settle in, because that D-line, listen, you can play Kai Wallen, you can play Van Poppel, you can play Hutmaker, you can play Ty Robinson, you can play Elijah Judy, you can play MJ Sherman, you can play James Williams, you can play Jamari Butler. Like, you want me to just keep going? Like, all those guys play.
Cam Lenhart, we didn't mention him.
I can't believe I keep forgetting about Sticks, right? Like,
pretty good.
How many guys was that?
Like 9.
And you don't have to bat an eye at it.
Yeah.
Like, will Shador be able to kind of climb the pocket, then slide and play catch? Like, you don't want guys running open in space,
which he doesn't really do. He tends to backpedal.
But go back and watch in NDSU. How many of those guys did you think were like open? Even the 3 was it 3 to Hunter? Like, did you feel good that like the concepts were sweet? Like, no, he just beat him one-on-one. He made contested catches.
That's what.
So what if like Nebraska could play what I call bracket? Right? Fame Bo Pelini deal. He's he could give a base cover. He could give a base front and then say, give a bracket concept, and you're always +1 over the top. If you don't run the ball or use a quarterback that can run the ball, you can +1 all day long because you have no threat.
Which is why Nebraska quarterbacks always gave Bo trouble.
100%. Because who's pulling those guys up on the scramble?
Yeah. Should be the...
It just depends, right? Yeah. We're playing a team this Friday. We had to rep it over and over because it's rare, right? Okay, so let's say we want to bring outside pressures. Well, they run sprint out, okay? If they get outside the pressure, first of all, they shouldn't. But if they do, because you get... Who's got the quick trigger pulling those guys up on the scramble? What are our insides? So you got to work these drills, right? If Colorado doesn't adjust, and I'm saying this now, and I know it's early, and it may come back to haunt me. If Colorado doesn't adjust with either some sort of middle of the field run or QB be elusive, get a first down, you're going to allow Nebraska to sit back and play a certain way. It's not going to be good for Colorado.
Can you replicate that with either like middle screen game with
not a great screen team though? Right,
but I'm saying if they don't want to run and they don't want Shadur's not going to take off.
I don't know. I don't know if you can all of a sudden be a screen team in 1 week.
Are there other passing concepts that they can do to kind of make up for what you're talking about?
I could see some mesh concepts, right? Like you go condensed or tighter formations, and you
like
can
rub routes.
Rub routes,
yeah.
Right, where you run multiple draggers. But Nebraska still, that's just about communicating. Hey, in, or take who's coming to you. Like there are concepts, but I think it's two main things. It's are you willing to run the ball, and will your quarterback get outside the pocket and hurt us? If he doesn't, the game is too far advanced and those guys are too smart. Now, conversely, what hurt Colorado against NDSU? Well, Cam Miller, number one. Right, scrambling, stepping up into the pocket. You see, I was like middle of the field, like low hole open. Like where are those linebackers, right? So while Nebraska doesn't possess the Cam Miller scramble deal, you can manipulate linebackers with intermediate pass game. That's why I think it was very, very important for Nebraska to show that they could play catch over the hashes. In between the hashes, I should say, not over, right?
Yeah.
Because you can manipulate guys getting hooked to curl or linebackers playing if you have good intermediate passing game. That's in addition to good run game, right? If you're like a C-gap, what I would call a C-gap run team, like you want edge run game, that's you can control linebackers.
Yeah.
Why Nebraska couldn't throw the ball last year is because when you could play with 8 in the box, you can't dictate numbers. If you can manipulate numbers in the box and still have an identity of running the football, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. Like, and I know it sounds like duh, but it's even harder to execute.
Sure.
Teams that get in 2x2 and 3x1 without a true inside run game, people think, oh, you run inside zone. Yeah, okay. But your quarterback better be able to run.
Yeah, otherwise you're not keeping them at home at all on the read.
You're not.
Right.
That's why I was in love with Michigan's run game last year. It was so good, and their offensive line schemes were so tough. They put you in a bind as a defense because everything looked the same. Shoot, man, am I supposed to be getting in my pass drops, or am I playing the run? God, it kind of looks the same.
Well, and
it had all these variations of it.
Yeah.
It was just hard.
Well, and even though McCarthy could run, they really didn't use him like that.
Yeah, but he had probably don't remember this, but I said, we were playing Flores the first year they beat us at state. I said, what? They're like, what terrifies you the most about Flores? I'm like, well, there's about 4 or 5 times a game he scrambles for a first down and it breaks your back because you can't account for him in coverage. It's the same thing that McCarthy would do.
Yes.
It's the exact same thing McCarthy would do.
We saw it with Mahomes a few times, I think, during the Super Bowl as well, right?
Oh,
the 49ers.
He's a great example. He breaks your back.
Yes. With like an 8-yard run, and you're like, God, we had
2
it
or 3
covered.
times a game.
Yes.
He absolutely breaks your back.
Because you can't account for him in the run game. Because if you do, he'll just pick you apart, right? And he doesn't run enough to make that worth it. But like I specifically remember in the Super Bowl, he's just scrambling. You're like, God, there's nothing you can do. If he's going to do that 2 or 3 times a game, there's nothing you can do.
I just don't think Colorado's good enough in one back shotgun run game to hand the ball off. And if they can't do that, you're allowing Nebraska's back end to flourish because they're already good up front.
Here's my only concern about what we've said is Shador is capable of that if he wants to.
If he wants to.
Yeah,
he's 100%. I agree with that.
That's the wild card that I don't know if he's gonna if he feels like taking off 2-3 times a game, he can do that.
That's why hitting him early is going to matter.
So he doesn't want to.
You just have to touch him early.
Yeah.
You gotta touch him early.
where he just doesn't. That's not something he wants to do again.
Because they like a pretty style of game.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to.
You gotta make it ugly. You gotta make it a little bit.
Not necessarily that as much as you have to plant a seed that you're going to get hit. Like you can be cute and hold the ball and backpedal
but we'll hit you.
I mean, because some of that stuff he does, it's like that shouldn't work.
No.
I mean, he's drifting 12, 15, but he's so good with ball placement and he's savvy. So you got to touch him.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to remind him that, like, you know what, this is going to be awkward. And
Sanders in trouble, and Sanders sacked again.
Got to hear that a lot.
Yes, especially early and especially when you're only sending 4 guys. That to me, the pressure with 4 is kind of the linchpin to everything you're talking about there.
Well, but then that's just football 101.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you can get pressure with 4 and cover with 7, you're going to win a lot of games.
But there's some teams who can get away with sending extra people.
Yeah. You know, can Nebraska +1 them? And by +1, I mean it's 6. Because +1 is more than they would have to block. That's where the pluses come in.
It means you have to send 2.
Yeah. So I'm not sure you want to make a living doing that.
No.
So can you rush with 5? Because if you do, and you don't keep it back in, it's mano-a-mano. Colorado can't win like that.
Coming up next, we're going to talk to Martie Cordaro, president of Union Omaha, here on Hurrdat Sports Radio, AM 590, ESPN Omaha, ESPN Tri-Cities. We're back here halfway through the show on Hurrdat Sports Radio, AM 590, ESPN Omaha, ESPN Tri-Cities. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. We are joined now by Martie Cordaro. He's the president of Union Omaha and, of course, your Omaha Storm Chasers. Martie, what's going on?
Good morning.
Prez, what's up, buddy? How we doing?
It's a great day. It's a great day, DB. Appreciate being on, and it's been too long.
Yeah, I kind of blame Shane, but that's on us. That's fine.
Hey, you can't blame Shane. He's the one who called me last night to coordinate everything.
Well,
He's the glue.
Guess what?
The glue.
Guess what? When you're popular and you're everywhere and you always send representatives of the representatives to represent, then I mean, sometimes we don't ever get to just talk to the man.
All right, touche.
Hey, so did you make it? Are you here or where? You're not in Spokane, are you?
Yeah, I'm in town. I didn't go to Spokane last night. You know, a lot happening here, obviously, with all the projects we have going on, and this time of year is a really interesting one because we're wrapping up 2 seasons. We're beginning 2 2025 seasons at the same time from a sales perspective and scheduling promotions, while we have 2 playoff chases this year, and not chases. I would say, both clubs are going to be participating in the postseason. Storm Chasers for sure, and Union are headed toward that. And we're working on the soccer development and stadium projects. A lot happening. A lot of this, all of this wouldn't be possible without Gary Green and him leading our ownership group over the last 12 plus years in the metro area. So a lot of excitement happening for sure at Warner Park and in and around the pro sports community.
All right. If you're going to wear 5 or 6 hats, how much better is it that one fits when the baseball team was off to such a good start with where they were headed in the postseason? I don't think you relax, but right. That particular hat does have to fit better, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you play games to win. Of course, on the baseball side, we're in the development business. Not that we're not on the soccer side, but it's more important to win because that's really our focus. We transfer player contracts and we're developing players to play at a higher level in the soccer side. But from a baseball perspective, you're seeing play out in Kansas City really what we're here for, and that's player development to help Kansas City get to the playoffs, win a World Series, and Mike Jerschley and his coaching staff have done an amazing job this year of doing that. We're sitting here at 81 wins, 17 games to go. Franchise record is 86 victories. We're excited about, yes, we want to get to 87, but it would be amazing for this year to be the year that we break 90 regular season wins for the first time in franchise history.
Let me go back to soccer real quick. Is there a part of you, and Spokane has kind of made it tough on you as a first-year franchise, quietly, and maybe it's not at your expense, but do you cheer for those first-time franchises knowing exactly what they're going through?
Off the field, absolutely. On the field, no way.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, look. You know, I'm headed to Dallas on Monday for, revenue meetings that the USL has started this year, which are direly needed.
That's a step in the right direction.
It is. You know, the soccer focus really has largely been on soccer. And that's not where growth in America is going to be from a soccer perspective, just on the field and results. And, you know, everything's important from the supporter groups and the culture of soccer. However, if your bottom lines aren't healthy or you're not at least breaking even so you can grow your franchises, there won't be the continual growth of soccer. So we're focused on that. You know, I'm proud to be a part of that growth, and hopefully I'm going to learn a few things and maybe, you know, share some things over my, 30 years of experience on that side of the business next week. But no, on the pitch, absolutely not.
We're talking with Martie Cordaro. He's the president.
You little competitor, you.
Well, hey, we like that. He's the president.
That's an ornery bunch, right? I mean, I know where you guys are sitting in the standings, but man, they have not been kind as a first year organization.
No, they haven't. You know, and last night, you know, it's hard to say you dominated a sporting event and then you lose, but last night we did. For 84 of the 90 minutes we dominated, but you know, we had a couple of mental mistakes and lapses, and we gave up a couple of goals, and you lose 2-1 on the road. You can't do that. But we're still sitting in second in the table, only 2 points behind Charlotte. Yep. We have a game in hand, so five of our 8 regular season matches left are at home, so really confident about where we are. And, again, excited for now through the middle of November.
We're talking with Martie Cordaro, president of Omaha and Omaha Storm Chasers. You mentioned your home matches coming up. You got one this Saturday against Greenville. Pretty cool event. You've got the Hometown Heroes Night. I know you like to get involved in the community. Tell us a little bit about the Hometown Heroes Night.
Yeah, Hometown Heroes is an opportunity for us to say thank you to those first responders, military, both currently serving, and veterans as well. So, you know, if you're interested in coming out and you have served our country, are serving our country, please reach out, to our front office. Zach in our front office on the union side is putting together a great night. You know, we couldn't do this without the support of Women Life. And then also on the promotional side of things, from a fan's perspective, we're giving away Steven Dos Santos bobblehead dolls, courtesy of Nebraska State Soccer Association. The cool thing about that is Steven, at our last home match on August 24th, he broke our all-time goals scored record.
24, so, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And Steven's been a great player for us, and we're really excited to honor him. So get there early, and yeah, there's a lot happening. Big game down in Lincoln at 6:30, and then our match kicks off at 7. For those that are soccer fans, we'll have the Husker game on all the televisions throughout the facility. But yeah, Saturday's going to be a big match. Absolutely, it's a big match, and one that we need to get. We need, after losing last night, we really need to get 3 big points on Saturday night. And I believe Coach Casciato and the club will come back hungry, and I'm excited to see the result.
Hey, as part of that bobblehead incentive, can you just tell him to score, because you're batting 1,000 when he does?
Yeah, we are, and he's an amazing player. And,
he scores, you guys win.
That's the way it works.
No pressure.
That's no pressure at all, Steven. No pressure.
That's a good formula for success there. Martie, you talked about kind of your experience when you're talking about the revenue meetings and stuff like that. I know that you're not from here originally, but you've been here for a while now. I think 18 years. Am I right there?
That's right.
That's pretty cool to be able to run for office and win as a historical non-resident. So I mean, good on you for sowing enough seeds where people actually think you're a native.
I thought he was the mayor. Is that not right?
Well, it's dual role.
Unofficially?
Yeah. Well, when the mayor's out of town, Martie takes over.
It sounds like a full-time job.
I don't know about any of that, but I will ask. How long do I need to live here to be considered from Omaha and from Nebraska? 18 of 51 years.
Yeah.
Before that, the 3 states and cities that Sarah and I lived in before that was just 8 years. So look, we've committed, our professional lives to here and our community service lives to here. And, Sarah and I have loved living in Omaha, and we've raised our kids here. And, it's always interesting when I get the question, how long have you been here? Or, do you consider Omaha home, or do you live here during the winter? And, people think that we show up at 4:00 in the afternoon of a match day or game day, sweep a little and roll a few hot dogs. And as you two know, that's just not
it.
Especially the minor league business works. At the major leagues, it is a little bit like that in regard to some roles, but not at the minor league level when you're wearing 3 and 4 and 5 hats.
Well, Marty, and you said you talked about how much you and your wife have invested in here, and it seems like Nebraska's noticed. I know you're getting honored by the Omaha Press Club by getting your face on the barroom floor.
That is incredible. Congratulations. That is about as distinguished as it gets.
Yeah, I mean, there's I think you're number 179. That's a pretty select group there. I guess being somebody that's chose Omaha as your home when you had options to go or kind of make it a brief stay like you did at some of your other spots on the way here. Like, how much does that mean to you that you've invested in here and now it's kind of seems like the city's acknowledging you?
I'll answer it this way. In May, when they asked me, it was uncomfortable. It wasn't an initial yes. I truly look at what we do. Just Damon, like your question on the field, I truly look at what we do day by day as team competition and on and off the pitch, on and off the baseball diamond. So I'm humbled to accept it on September 19th. But it absolutely is on behalf of both of the organizations and what our teams do off the field and off the pitch day by day for 365 days. They do all live here. And, this is their community as well. But it's going to be a great event. And, yeah, I mean, Johnny Carson and Warren Buffett. And as I keep getting notes from Todd and Tyler, my buddies over there, it's like, it's pretty cool, pretty select group. And another cool thing is 50 after 129, Alan Stein was 129. My mentor, the reason I'm here, the reason why the Omaha Royals were, he led the acquisition back in May of 2006. That's why there's still AAA baseball here. So I'm humbled to be, inducted into, the same group that he's in as well. And it'll be a great night. But I want to make mention, I think it's really important for people to know this is also a fundraiser, and communications, journalism, media, jobs, obviously, are important. They're important to what we do. It's the profession you guys have taken on. So if someone may not know me or doesn't know a lot about me, it's still an opportunity to come out. It's $100. The public's invited, and you get to help support scholarships that the Press Club award each year to deserving college students throughout the state. So I think that's something that needs to be promoted a little bit more as well.
All right, I'm going to let you out on this because it's a one-word answer. If you want me to really test your roots, you looking more forward to La Tech and North Carolina State on the 14th or Nebraska and Colorado? Come on.
Oh, I'm looking more forward to it.
Come on, man. It took you too long, MC. Damn it.
No. Here's the deal. You go back 5-10 years, that's not even a question. I would probably slap you through the phone. Of course, but today and this year, look, Damon, you and I've talked about Coach Rule, and I still have not had the opportunity to meet him yet. I would love to. I'm such a fan, and that answer is Huskers all day long with the Colorado game coming up. I have big expectations for this year, and I think it's great for the state. And last week was a great start to see Raiola get off to that start, and it's exciting. I don't know, it's great. It's great to see what's happening down in Lincoln because it's so great for the state.
Well, Marty, it's great to see what you do all the time with Union Omaha and the Omaha Storm Chasers. We appreciate you taking the time to talk to us, and congratulations again on the honor.
Yeah, appreciate it. Appreciate it, guys. Come out to a match, and Damon, I don't know when you have free time either, but come out.
He doesn't.
Maybe October 2nd. Hey, it's a day game.
Is it a bye? Do we have a bye?
Oh no, October 2nd. No, we're playing. We got it's our first day game home soccer match in history. It'll be our first Kids Day game. There'll be about 3,000 kids out.
So Wednesday, you're good to go.
Yeah, Wednesday, October 2nd. So
Can I sit with you?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I'll probably be running buses. I'll need some help. So yeah, come on out.
Hey, Lord knows I can't drive, but I'll be your right hand man. I can park though. I'll tell you how to park.
No, we just have to direct, DB. They don't let us on the bus.
Damn
we just have to direct them. But no, look, seriously, you guys come out on October 2nd. It'll be a fun match.
Marty, book it.
We appreciate it. We will talk to you soon. We'll get that. That arranged.
Yep. Take care, guys. Appreciate what you do for local sports. Have a great week.
Thanks, MC.
That's Marty Cordaro, the president of Union Omaha and Omaha Storm Chasers. We'll be back with Brian Edwards. Wrapping up hour number 2 here on Hurrdat Sports Radio, AM 590, ESPN Omaha, ESPN Tri-Cities. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. We're joined now by Brian Edwards, our friend, our Vegas insider, MajorWager.com. What's up, B?
Come on.
Hey, so did you get best? No, you didn't get best of both worlds because Florida didn't cover, but Napier is one step closer to being out the door. So was that at least some saving grace?
Yeah, finally, I think reality is hit in Gainesville, but it's starts with an S and then a show because I don't know if you guys are familiar, but the school president stepped down like 5 or 6 weeks ago. So we've got an interim school president, which probably gives Strickland, the AD, who should have been gone 2 years ago, gives him a little more leeway. The big donors are not happy, but this is all their fault, to be honest, for putting Strickland in power. He's been trying to push a $500 million swamp renovation. They just got the $85 to $90 million football-only facility done 2 years ago. You're going to have to pay Napier $25 million to go away. I don't know what we got to pay Strickland to go away, but those dumbasses gave him an extension like a year and a half ago for no reason whatsoever. I mean, it is an absolute disaster. It could not be worse.
You know how I always know somebody, right? Like, you may not know this, but Ben Sass is directly connected to the state of Nebraska as a former representative. And I guess somebody that I exchanged pleasantries with quite a bit. Pretty scathing reports on their spending and the hiring process behind the scenes of that presidency. So listen, man, I get it. I understand folks in Gainesville are not happy. You feel like you've been had, huh?
Yeah, but I mean, no, not me. I knew all this. I have not been had by nobody. Let's be clear on one doggone thing. I have not been had by anybody. I knew all this. Well, I didn't really know about the school president. I didn't know any of that. But Strickland and Napier, I've been calling this. I was taking receipts. I was going back. I was Googling, how do I look up my tweets from November 28th of 2021, and I was retweeting them the other day because I was calling this the day he was hired. I've been calling for Strickland's head for years. I mean, no, I have not been taken, but those chumps running my school have been taken, yes.
Nobody loves petty. Petty Brian Edwards, like petty Ravi Lulla. He's the king of petty, but he may have to take a back seat to you today.
I just appreciate you dropping the dog on like the best coach that the state of Florida's ever seen, Bobby Bowden.
Oh, wow. Don't worry, he does it to me too, B. Sometimes you just got to tip your cap. He got a good one off on us. He does it to me.
Hey, did your son get in the game the other day?
He's not. He did not. No, everybody keeps asking me because they know he's like a potential impact guy. They're going to have to. So they told him, they want it to be meaningful. So he's working with a couple of the black units on special teams, but I'm looking for, I don't think they wanted to use it against UTEP, but he's one of those guys that's really close.
In other words, they don't want to go one of the potential 4 games quite yet.
No, but I do think with a couple of the top special teams units starting this week, he's working with the black unit, which is their top unit. So we'll see. I mean, I'm cautiously optimistic. The problem is that secondary is loaded with seniors, even though he's really he's close. Yeah. Gotcha. So we'll see. It's a good spot to be in as a freshman. Especially when never mind. I was going to be petty, but I'm going to move on.
What you got?
Nothing.
Especially in what? Especially in what?
Nothing.
What happened?
I just 3 years removed. I keep receipts too, B. I keep receipts too. Let's get to the picks.
Especially when other people said that maybe it wasn't that good. Is that maybe what we're doing?
No,
maybe we're doing.
No,
oh, okay.
no, not at all.
Hey, so we've got some big games this weekend, Brian. Got Tennessee and NC State. I know you got a little earlier in the week. That number's creeped up a little bit, though.
Yeah, but I still think you're good. I mean, I don't want to lay 10, but I think you're okay probably up to 10. I mean, man, Nico's good, man. Nico is really good, which is
He's
really
a big boy too.
Oh, and he moves, and he has got an absolute cannon of an arm. 22 of 28 last week, 314, 3 touchdowns. I mean, they had 718 yards offense. I know it's an FCS team, but I mean, they did 35-0 to Iowa in the bowl game, his first career start. I think they're on to something here. NC State, one possession game with Western Carolina last week. Now, look, one possession in the game in the fourth quarter, and then they pull away. But now I don't know about Tennessee's defense. We'll find out. I don't know if they got a DB that can stick with Concepcion, but I don't think it's going to matter because, I mean, Tennessee's scoring at least 40, I think. Yeah, I got Tennessee -7, but I'm okay at 8 or 8.5. And it's a night game. I won't be surprised if it keeps moving north close to 10. But Vols are my favorite pick, and I'll probably do first half also for less, -4.5 is what I saw. Love the Vols, love Nico, and love Heupel. Yeah, they got something good going on. We'll see about their defense, but offensively, whew. And I haven't even seen a team total yet. Might get involved there as well with Tennessee team total over.
If I'm an Iowa fan, this line scares me because I think they're begging you to take Iowa. It just seems like, given the two teams' performance, Ferentz dominance over Coach Campbell, yet it's just a key number in Iowa City. Are you taking the bait, or are you give you all the cheese for the trap you want?
Yeah, I'm taking the bait. I got to go Iowa -3. They're 7-1 straight up, 5-2-1.
What'd you make the line?
That is a good question. That's a good question. And let me go to my notebook. I think I made it 4, but let me get to my.
I said it should have been at least 5. It should be at least 5.
I wrote Iowa -4. So, not a huge edge from my number, but I at 3 or less, I got to go Iowa. They've dominated the rivalry, like you noted. And, I know it took them a while to get going offensively, but McNamara did end up throwing for 3 touchdowns last week. Iowa State didn't generate nearly as much offense against an FCS opponent. Give me the Hawkeyes.
B, as you get in,
Ravi needs it for his win total. So,
oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't need to because my win total is 7.5. They could easily lose this one and still be 10-2, 9-3.
Let's get this one though.
Yeah, right. You'd love to be 25 or 20% of the way there.
I mean, I think they're going 11-1, so I don't care at all. I'm just. That number is ridiculous is all I mean, is they gave me so much wiggle room there.
Oh, shoot.
Let's get the NFL game tonight, Chiefs and Ravens. This seems I know this seems like a number DB likes as well. Chiefs -3.
It's got some Iowa vibes to it. Be like Mahomes with a key number at home. Okay.
Yeah. So there's this Lamar Jackson underdog number. He's 12-0-1 against the spread as a regular season underdog. But as long as Joe Burrow is not on the other team and I can get Mahomes -3 or fewer at Arrowhead,
right?
I got to do it. So all streaks come to an end. I got the Chiefs -3. Maybe it might be a 2.5 out there, but 3 is fine with me.
I'll take it.
Let's talk about you like a little money line parlay because you and Ravi are both sickos. Let's talk.
Yeah, I mean, I don't do a ton of these, more so in the NFL. But, just because it's 3 and a hook and you got to probably pay -130 or more to get down to 3 on both of these. I'm talking about the Lions and Dolphins at home against the Rams and Jags, respectively. So instead of doing that, let's just go Lions, Fins, moneyline parlay, +144. And, if you put some muscle behind it, the Lions game's at night. So potential hedge there. I mean, if you want to go that route. College, the Utes minus 650 money line. Again, parlay. I would never lay 650, but in a parlay, they're at home to Baylor. Kansas, this is actually the road one, which is kind of scary, but I think they're so much better in Illinois. I remember them killing Illinois on Friday night last year, albeit in Lawrence. That's minus 200. The Terps against a bad Sparty team, although head coaching advantage to Sparty, which could be scary. Terps at home to the Sparty minus 350. Texas minus 280. I just think Michigan's got they're too much a work in progress offensively. I mean, look, if they win the turnover battle, they can make that one interesting for sure. But I think Texas wins. I don't want to lay 7 and a hook though, minus 280. And then Vols minus 300 is absolutely automatic. So that's plus 302. If you wanted to take the road team Kansas out of it, then it's just plus 168. But if you leave Kansas in there and do a 5-teamer, but it's plus 302.
All right. I know we're a week early, but do you think you'll have a play on Lopez and Ortega?
Yeah, I'm going to be on Ortega. Unless I feel like he's injured or the weight cut's not going good, I'm going to be on Ortega.
O'Malley or Devalashvili?
You know, I was thinking Marab for sure for a while, but now I think I'm changing my mind.
Okay.
I think the champ is an underdog. Look, it won't be. I'm not going to fade Marab for any big amount of money. So that is, yeah, because we got Burns this weekend, right? That's right.
Yep.
So it's next weekend. Okay.
No.
Yep.
I'll give you plenty of time to get all your ducks in a row after your winnings this weekend.
I hope so. Last week was not a good start to the season. So.
All right.
That's all right.
Brian Edwards here for Ben Sass and Mr.
Right.
And you know they say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. You must love Bobby Bowden, doggone it.
Rough hang today. Tough hang today.
Yeah. Every day, B. Every day.
Tough hang. All right. See you guys. Have a good week.
Kicking off hour number 3 on Hurrdat Sports Radio, AM 590, ESPN Omaha, ESPN Tri-Cities, and KFOR in Lincoln for this third hour. That's DB. I'm Ravi, Lulla, and we're brought to you by our friends at Big Brothers Big Sisters. They're on a mission to find 60 men in 60 days by October 30th to become mentors for Big Brothers Big Sisters. We're calling on all the men in the Omaha metro area to step up and become big brothers to many youth that are waiting for a mentor. Some of these kids have been waiting for a big brother for over a year, and more than half of those on the waiting list are boys looking for a man to be their mentor as their big brother. Get to mentoromaha.org to sign up to help Big Brothers Big Sisters accomplish their goal of 60 men in 60 days. Joining us now, one of our favorite guys, Michael Bruntz, Husker 24/7. What's up, B?
How you guys doing?
I'm sorry you had to sit through that. Ravi just takes advantage of the fact that you guys are both Millard North guys. So hopefully you can sign up to be a big brother. How's that? Not that you don't have kids of your own.
That's all right. Maybe after the season I'll think about it. I know that doesn't fit the 60-day window, but
that's all right.
Keep that under advisement.
It's better late than never. It's all good.
True.
See, I'm sure the kids that need mentors and after the season's over too.
So
I'm sure they will.
Schaefer's going to Columbus. Are you going to watch Cherry Creek, or what are you doing tomorrow night, Bruntz?
I will be at Lyle Buell Stadium watching the Mustangs and Cherry Creek.
I don't know how good Cherry Creek is, and Ravi, of course, got his skirt and pom-poms on for the Mustangs, so I think he thinks they're pretty good.
No, they're just better than I thought they would be. I don't know how good they are, but they're better than I thought.
Can I ask a Millard North guy question of you, Ravi?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Yes, he loves Behringer. Greatest principal ever.
I don't love it. I thought the helmets were okay. I'm not gonna be up in arms about the taper on the helmet thing or anything like that. Like I'm okay with updating things. I do struggle with the green a little bit. I don't love the green. Maybe it doesn't fit my eye for what I'm used to. Maybe I'll get used to it, but I wasn't enamored. Like if you're gonna do a full redesign, I would have maybe liked something else. But I did like the helmets though.
Yeah, no, I was the same way initially about the green, and it's got some Seattle Seahawks 1980s vibe to it that I kind of like.
Okay,
their other teams use it as trim though. Football just never did.
Yeah. And I'm okay with the trim. I'm okay with the trim. It wasn't what I was expecting.
Got it. Yeah, I didn't hate it. I'll put it that way. So I liked it. I liked it a little bit.
I do like the logo on the helmet, and you got the number on the other side. Like, I liked the helmets.
I'm calling both their principal and their athletic director to say, listen, I'm a total tattletale. I'm telling.
I mean, Behringer's probably listening. He's a fan, so.
Well, he's running a pretty big building.
It's fine. He probably keeps
he's got his AirPod in.
Keeps an earbud in, you know? As long as he's not in a passing period, he could probably tune in his office.
Oh, Lord.
He found time to meet with me during the school day. I'm sure he can listen to the show.
Hey, I got some gear for you.
He did. It was great. You know, Miller North guys got to look out for each other.
Hey, so, Bruntz, speaking of looking out, you'll support my man crush on Coach Dvorak after watching week 1, right? With Bear and Bullock, who was really, really just wrecking guys. Like, you're on that Rob Dvorak train, right?
Yes. I think he's a great position coach. Yes.
Oh,
okay.
Right.
Good talk. No,
I didn't know if there was a follow-up to that.
Well, it's our show, but it's your segment, so you can do whatever you want with that, Bruntz.
I didn't mean to go. Bo Pelini's a good football player. I think,
or I don't know. What'd you think?
You saw the game. Yeah. So no, I mean, I think what they've done with the two top guys. I mean, with Bayer and Bullock, and I mean, I think people forget that Bullock's only in his second year as a linebacker.
Yeah.
And I think he's done a really nice job with those two. I am kind of curious to see if they can get that second group up closer to the first group. I mean, I think that's kind of because Thompson and Shavers are kind of different players from the other guys that you notice it a little bit when they make that change. But no, I mean, I think you have to give Dvorak a ton of credit with the development he's done with Bullock. I mean, he's a guy that never had played linebacker, was kind of closer to the line of scrimmage last year, even though he was still playing a little bit undersized, I think. And I think he'd say that too. But no, I mean, I think those two guys, Bayer and Bullock, are going to have a pretty big impact on the game, not only from, being able to clean up stuff when Sanders gets out of the pocket, but also just the narrow crossing stuff and kind of handling the middle of the field. Because I think that's one area that kind of concerns me a little bit, actually, with the way that Colorado does things.
Bruntz, is there an area where you feel particularly confident against Colorado? I know everybody points to the defensive line against that offensive line. Are you on that bandwagon, or is there something where you're like, I think Nebraska got a huge advantage here?
No, I mean, I'm. It's a tight bandwagon on the defensive line with the offensive line. You kind of got your arm around somebody else to kind of move to the side to give other people room. I mean,
gonna be a bump. Gonna hit a bump. Hang on.
Yeah. It's interesting. Like,
it's like that press elevator. If you wait too long to get downstairs.
Oh God, there was like a special kind of BO in that thing on Saturday. It was bad. Like, I felt so bad for those old ladies that have to run the elevator. It's just like sitting in this cloud of big man stink for like 4 hours.
Oh man, I'm gonna dry heave and throw up in my mouth. That's awesome.
Yeah, just kind of in the air. It's like the 4th of July after the fireworks are all done. There's just like a haze. But no, I think it's been interesting. Listen, guys, I'm trying to segue here.
Oh, I just know exactly what you're talking about, and there's been multiple times, Bruntz, your boy will opt for either the service elevator or the stairs. I'm just not doing it because I literally will be the guy that will like dry heave, will choke.
Yeah.
I got.
This smells delicious.
I do the stairs sometimes too, and it's usually a pretty good test of my fitness coming out of the off season, and it's never pretty.
Only do it when you're going down, not the whole up thing. Yeah.
I go up occasionally, and I always think to myself, I'm like, man, if I have like a heart attack in this thing, nobody's gonna find me for like 3 hours. So I stopped doing that just in case.
Yeah, if the service elevator gets stuck, I'm screwed. I hope they need a whole bunch of hot dogs and new buns on the reload, because I'll be in there for a minute.
You should ask Schaefer sometime about his service elevator experience. It's not good.
Well, it makes a lot of noise. I don't know if it's always worth it, but at least I'm not with anybody ever.
Yeah. No, I think back to your question, like it's been interesting kind of reading about, what's come out of Colorado this week. And obviously Nebraska's defensive line has their attention, as it should. I think they're feeling over there in the Mountain Time Zone is that they've improved quite a bit at the offensive line spot, or that they've made enough improvements that they can kind of hold up there. And I'm curious to see that be tested on Saturday, because you guys watched that North Dakota State game. Guys were getting some pressure, and I think last year Nebraska, I think they really kind of controlled things up front for the first 2.5 quarters, and the big thing is if you flush Sanders, can you get him on the ground? Because he'll back up 20 yards to throw at 10, and that's the challenge. Is can you get him on the ground and not let him run around for 7 seconds and make your secondary have to really work to cover those skill position players?
So Bruntz, who has the bigger story Saturday night when you guys have got to make whatever deadlines there are for like being online, which kind of made up, but will it be Nebraska's ground and pound or Colorado's lack of a run game that will be more of the storyline Saturday night late?
Well, I think it has to be Nebraska's ability to run the ball, because I would be very surprised if Colorado comes in and runs the ball with any kind of success against Nebraska.
If they do, Nebraska's lost. That's for sure. That's why I'm
correct.
Yeah.
No, I think it's I think it's about whether or not Nebraska can control the clock, whether they can move the ball on the ground and stay on schedule. I think it's you're not getting conservative, but I think Nebraska would be very well served to really dedicate itself to running the ball, keep Colorado's offense off the field, and just kind of lean on them. I think at times they were trying to do that last year, but never were able to do that with any kind of success because of the turnovers and everything else that happened. But, I think in some ways, Marcus Satterfield has to be okay with just continuing to chip away. And I think last week against UTEP, there were times when, Nebraska probably could have early on, gotten a little pass happy and things like that. But I think, a little bit of discretion in the play calling is probably a good thing, and just kind of using those 4 backs, using Dowdell again, because I think he deserves to be in there in spite of the fumble last week. So I think that's got to be more of the story late on Saturday night is what Nebraska was able to get done on the ground, because that's also the way that you make things really easy for your freshman quarterback, is if he's having to convert 3rd and 3 versus 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, and those kinds of situations.
I think we're kind of misremembering too, because watching that game Sunday night from last year, we forget how emotionally spent and physically tired Shedeur Sanders looked going in at the half, right? Like, we gave them life in the second half playing the way that we did. But that first half, I was thinking to myself, Kyle, I hope Colorado has some depth. Like, I don't think I'm misremembering that, right? Nebraska has a chance, if you look at depth, to be better than a year ago in that first half, don't they?
Yeah, what was it, 13-7 midway through the third?
I mean, is that too much Like, go watch that first half last year and them going off the field at the half. It was whoa, go Big Red.
Nebraska was getting after him too. I mean, and you know, the context that you have to remember, that's really important to kind of remember about last year was, I mean, you know, Colorado goes just gangbusters on TCU, and I mean, we know what TCU ended up being, but at least the perception at the time was like, whoa, like, you know, this offense, look out. And you know, in the second game of Tony White's tenure, and you know, that's also an important piece of context. You know, Nebraska really kind of, you know, was able to hang in there and really kind of dominate in some ways early on in that game. And you're right. I mean, I think people kind of do forget that, and the final score being what it was, I think kind of you forget about the first 2.5 quarters of things. And Nebraska was doing that, being put in some pretty lousy situations by its offense and its special teams.
100%.
I mean, it was pretty bad. I mean, when you just kind of look at the drive chart from what they put together last season.
I was cheering over field goal attempts. I was like, wow, thank God they held them to a field goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I mean, that's kind of that's the way it was. I mean, I think, you know, pretty much everybody that was, you know, on the field last year for Nebraska's defense is back. I think they're in a better place to be a little bit more dominant. And, you know, I think if Nebraska is able to get home with the front four and, you know, maybe even three sometimes, I mean, I think that's, you'll take that every day. And I think even last year they were able to do that without having to dedicate a ton of extra blitzers. You know, like it seemed like it didn't seem like they were particularly exotic last season against Colorado. It was just winning one-on-ones up front.
We're talking with Michael Bruntz, Husker 24/7. Bruntz, let's take Dylan Raiola out of it. If Nebraska wins on Saturday against Colorado, who do you think needs to be the MVP?
I mean, I don't know that it's one guy. I mean, I think that running back group, the four-headed monster, needs to have a good game. I mean, that's kind of, you know, the way I look at it. You know, I think there's an opportunity for Nebraska to run the ball. You know, as much as we kind of talked last week about the potential for quick 3-and-outs, and then kind of the you know, kind of the ball control pounding running game. I mean, I think there's the potential for that this week as well. And you know, I think that's the recipe. So I'd say the running back group. I mean, I don't care who it is out of that group, but a couple of those guys need to have good games if Nebraska's going to have a chance.
Bruntz, if the special teams is going to continue to do whatever you thought you saw on Saturday, what will it be?
I don't know. It was. I don't know about you guys, but was it strange to see returns? Like the amount of space that was there.
Yes, it was
on punt returns.
Yeah,
it was weird. Right?
Well, they have half the return yardage in one game that they had all of last year.
Right. Like I was like, oh wow, he's actually going to catch it and run with it. Look at that. No, I think you need to kind of do that. I mean, the field position piece of it's going to be huge. I thought Bashini hit it pretty well. I mean, I know he kind of had a rough game last year in Colorado. And, you know, the kicking piece of it, I mean, we'll see what it looks like this week. I mean, I don't know if Alvano's more healthy or what that kind of looks like right now. But, you know, I think for special teams, you kind of need to just be even. Like, don't take anything off the table. If you bring something to the table, that's even better. But, you know, just kind of be that third.
Don't take anything off the table. Hey,
yeah.
Just do what you did, guys.
Yeah, right. Like
it's kind of how I feel.
You just got to be table guys. Just don't take anything off of it. Bring something a little bit if you want to, but I think that's what I'd like to see. I mean, I think if you could get a big play somehow, even better. But I just think you need to be steady there. That's all I'm looking for.
Michael, is there a score that you're thinking about that Like, hey, if it kind of stays in this range, Nebraska played the game they wanted to play, versus if it gets over or under that spot that you're like, this maybe didn't go the way Nebraska was hoping?
Yeah, I mean, if it gets into a shootout, I don't think that works well for Nebraska. I mean, I think
like north of 30,
like even with their depth.
Yeah, I mean, I just even with the depth. I mean, I think the thing that you want to avoid most if you're Nebraska are like those huge splash plays that take the crowd out of it. That kind of get you guys have been there. You know that feeling in the stadium of here we go again. Like that, you can feel it in the air, kind of like the big man stink in the elevator, bring things all the way around. Like you want to avoid that. And I think if it's in the 20s, if it's even in the low 30s, I mean, I think Nebraska can still be okay. I mean, I think you just don't want to get into a real big back and forth track meet in Colorado, because that's kind of the way that they're going to do it. I mean, I think if Nebraska comes out of this one on top, it's part of it's going to be because Tony White's defense was good enough and shut Colorado down, maybe turned them over a time or two, and so that's why I think like a little bit of a lower score. I think that benefits Nebraska.
Bruntz, who do you like in Texas and Michigan?
That's a good question. The Marge Simpson, just hope everybody has a good time line comes to mind. I think Texas. I mean, I think I don't know what to make of Michigan yet. I kind of figured last week that Fresno was going to be able to go in there and give them a decent game. It just feels like Michigan just. You had a ton of turnover. It still feels like a program that's kind of trying to find itself and get its footing a little bit. And I don't know that Texas is in that same category right now. So I would lean Texas in that one.
What about Arkansas and Oklahoma State?
I watched a little bit of Arkansas, and that offense is fun. I like the potential that they've got there. So I would lean Arkansas, just because it feels like you probably couldn't get that point total high enough. So I would lean Hogs, but they also feel like a team a little bit where it's still a little bit early to be able to say definitively that they're just going to go out and blow the doors off of teams.
All right, Cyclones and Hawkeyes.
Pain. That's the first thought that comes to mind. I'll go Iowa a little bit. I'll lean Iowa. I don't know that I'm buying that they're all of a sudden an offensive juggernaut, but
the total's only 35, so that's it. Vegas says no.
that feels a little high.
No, we're living in a new world, Iowa, where they can score touchdowns. Yeah, come on, Bruntz.
Yeah, they got Warren Moon and Haywood Jeffries on offense now.
Wow, that's a great pull.
You like that pull?
Haywood, nice.
I would lean Iowa there. 35. Geez, that still feels like a lot of points, but I think Iowa can actually maybe do some things this year offensively, and that's a very, very low bar.
I know Michigan State struggled and Chillis didn't look great, but they go to Maryland. It's kind of a weird early Big Ten matchup. Do you like Michigan State going forward with Jonathan Smith?
I think he's a great coach. I think it might take a little bit of time to get things off the ground there for him, but I mean, you look at what he did at Oregon State, which is a very tough place to win. They by the end of his time there, I mean, they were really they were a team that felt like they were kind of trending towards like a Big Ten, like old school Big Ten mindset, where they could really run the ball. I think he's a pretty good developer of quarterbacks. I think that works out. I think it probably takes a little bit of time to get everything in order up there, but I don't know. The one of the programs in the Big Ten that I have the toughest time with is Maryland, because they've always got a few guys. that you kind of look up since Mike Locksley's been there, and it's like, oh, they're at 6-7 wins, and I wouldn't even have thought that. So that's probably a pretty sneaky tough matchup early on for Michigan State. I think Jonathan Smith long term will be good there, but I don't know. I don't really have really strong feelings either way on that game.
All right. Well, since we're just going all things expert, Michael Bruntz, this one's tricky. Tricky. Like the folks in Lawrence traveled to Champaign. It's just 5.5. Does that look right to you?
It feels like a little low. Like
doesn't it?
I feel like Kansas is probably like 2 scores better, right?
Is Illinois going to win that game, and all of a sudden we're going to be afraid on Friday night?
Watch out.
You know it.
Watch out for the Illini.
85 Bears.
Bielema's back.
That's our guy, Michael Bruntz, Husker 24/7. Bruntz, we appreciate the time as always. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Bruntsy.
All right, see you guys. Yep.
We'll be back with more Hurrdat Sports Radio coming up next. We're back here on Hurrdat Sports Radio, AM 590, ESPN Omaha, ESPN Tri-Cities, KFOR in Lincoln. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. It's time for Bet On It, brought to you by Warhorse Sportsbook. Warhorse Sportsbook, no bets, no glory. It's the best place in Nebraska to place your sports bets, whether it's at the sportsbook here in Omaha or in Lincoln. It is the place to go, and they've got you covered for nearly every major sporting event, including the NFL, which we're going to talk about now.
No.
You want to talk about something else?
No, the NFL's good.
Okay.
Well, I smell bet.
That's a good pull. I like that one, Shane.
Where's that from?
I don't know.
Where'd you get that from, Shane?
I think that was one of Severe's favorites that he always wanted me to play because he was always about betting.
Yeah, he is a degenerate.
He does enjoy the gambling. Wanted to do division winners. Let's do division winners.
Well, I mean, I wanted to do a lot of things, so why are you conceding now?
We're just here to do whatever you want to do, DB.
I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
That's also accurate.
Yes.
Not trying to stick around forever.
No.
It's
like get in, get out.
Yeah, there's a
Well, you certainly don't have to worry about legacies.
Shelf life. No.
You're like, no, I'm good.
I'm all right there. My dogs can be my legacy. It's fine.
Well, I don't think they're going to keep naming their offspring Lulla.
They might. You never know. You never know. Those dogs are going to be sentient any day now.
Wait, what?
Sentient? You know what that means?
No.
It's like self-aware. It's like human characteristics, you know?
Oh.
When you become sentient, you're
the more you know.
Self-aware, kind of like that's the problem with people think AI is going to become sentient and take over the world.
Did you listen to Coach White get the AI question yesterday? Somebody asked him if they used AI. I can't remember what it was.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah. Now you can, and I liked his answer too, because a lot of people don't really know how the walkthrough room works.
Yeah.
And as well they shouldn't because they're never in there. But like you can feed the data.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Of their compiling data and that walkthrough room for tendencies and stuff. But you can also watch yourself on practice. You can do anything.
Yeah.
In that room, it
sounds spectacular.
It's absolutely amazing, and it's real turf. I mean, you're not gonna go tackle in there, but it is for walkthroughs, right?
Right.
Like you want to go over schemes,
So the feel is going to be right.
Yeah, you can look at it right then and there. You can actually simulate lining up against the front.
Mm-hmm. It's not like doing running through plays on a hotel ballroom.
Yeah, it's a little come a long way. Are we like? I use chairs. I move chairs around sometimes in Nebraska City when I want to do line play and stuff.
Yeah.
And they're always so heavy, and it discourages me from wanting to demo it because
maybe you just need to work out a little bit so you can lift the chairs better.
Don't feel like moving the chairs.
You're going to be like in those commercials, the guy that is working out so he can lift his kid to put the star on the top of the tree. Mm-hmm. You're going to be doing that with chairs. You're going to just do a little chair workout and get things going.
There's a dry erase board behind me back there too.
Yeah?
Yeah. Markers never work, so I should probably bring my backpack in because I always
have to put one up right here.
There. Yeah, I don't know if they could see that though.
You think so? That's right. I mean, that's right. In
I don't know what they see. Do they see what we see when we look at the stream here?
That's the same shot. At least it is on mine. I don't know what you're in because if you're just in on yours to see comments, you'll see something different. But they see what I see.
Oh.
Because it's plugged into my computer.
So when I fake throw things at you and ask for stuff everybody's watching?
100%. That's how cameras work.
God, that's childish. I probably need to grow up. Stop doing stuff like that.
I mean, at 50, I just figured it was.
Sometimes I just make faces. Are you like WTH?
No, I mean, I know. I know who you are.
I get bored.
Well, that's probably not great.
Well, it's a long time to sit. And I want to stand, but then I'll be out of camera shot.
You can stand if you want. We'll figure it out.
Of course, Queen Genius wanted us to have these cameras, so it always has to be on now.
We can.
Remember when I used to sometimes stand and walk around? It was fine. I could intentionally freeze my camera.
I don't remember when you used to stand and walk around. I feel like that might have been with a different co-host.
No, but I would just do this.
So do that. Let me see if you're still in the shot. Yeah, you're still in the shot. You're fine.
Am I?
As long as you're not all the way up on the hill varsity, you're cool.
So what about when you make me mad, I want to walk off?
Well, if you go too far that way, you're going to be out of the screen.
It's a route.
Yeah, you're out of the screen that way.
Just don't put your hand over the camera and then say something thinking you're not going to be on. The audio's not going to be there.
I'm dumb. I'm not that dumb.
That's not how. Yeah, that's not the camera. The camera mic is not.
Can't see me.
It's like little kids when they close their eyes and they think that you can't see them anymore.
Yeah, like a little dude with the sunglasses on in Big Daddy.
That's right. You can't see me.
His name was Julian.
Julian?
Yeah.
I heard he wiped it. Never mind.
He did. He was pretty good at it.
Let's wipe I don't know. We don't know if he was good at it. We just know he tried.
He also knew that Styx was one of the greatest American rock bands ever.
You're not an 80s rock guy, though, we found out. So
yeah,
probably not a big Styx guy.
Good practice, tough listen.
Come sail away.
No.
I'm saying.
Mr. Roboto?
No.
Yeah, Mr. Roboto. That's a good one.
No, didn't play any of that.
DB's a big Styx fan.
No.
Like The River?
No.
No?
What's the Radio Gaga song that came on? And even our young coaches knew it. I was
Queen.
Like, I've never, yeah. And somebody dropped a Freddie Mercury reference.
Radio Goo Goo, Radio Gaga. Yeah,
just ridiculous day.
Queen is good. I like Queen. Good band.
Wow. I had 2 good songs, maybe.
They had a bunch of good songs. Come on.
No. Shane, remember that I didn't know that Freddie Mercury was dead? That was a fun show.
Yep, another one bites the dust.
Wow.
Well, that's one of his. That's one of his best songs.
Cold-blooded.
Pretty sure he's alive for that one, though.
I actually don't think
Like
he wrote.
Flash?
I don't think he wrote that one, Shane. I think that was Brian May.
Didn't matter if he wrote it.
I'm just saying.
Brian
But that's a good pull, though.
Right? Was he related to Drake and Tim?
No. A lot of the more
Sean?
stadium rock songs. What about his dad? Sean May's dad. Was it Scott?
Yeah.
Scott May.
Dad.
Last undefeated Hoosier. No, a lot of the more like rock stadium songs were Brian May.
Oh, like We Will Rock You.
Yeah.
And
A lot of those were Brian May. He kind of helped
I Want
out.
It All that stuff.
He helped out the record.
That was played yesterday.
That's Queen.
He helped out the record company a little bit that wanted more traditional like rock anthems. And Freddie Mercury's like, I'm gonna write Bohemian Rhapsody. You guys do what you want.
Oh, he likes writing about his bicycle. I mean, what's wrong with that?
I heard he saw a silhouette of a man. What?
Maybe that's where he went wrong.
Wow.
What?
So in the AFC East, we've got the Bills, Dolphins, Jets, and Patriots. Who
Give
you got?
me your Buffalo Bills.
All right.
I don't love it, but I'll take the
I
Buffalo
don't love
Bills.
anybody in that division.
You like the Jets, don't you?
No.
Because, well, yeah.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Also, if the Jets are good, Sauter's going to be insufferable.
Yeah.
So we're rooting against the Jets.
Well, I wouldn't do that. I like Sauter.
I'm just rooting against the Jets, so I don't have to hear it.
Give me my media pass, though. But I'll take the Bills reluctantly.
AFC North.
I'll take the Baltimore Ravens.
It's a good call. AFC South.
Give me. I'm not going to go trendy.
What's trendy? The Colts?
Yep. I will take the Houston Texans.
Interesting.
I don't love it.
Yeah.
Regression candidate.
I agree. Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville might sneak up on people.
Dude, they're
might sneak up on people. Trevor Lawrence.
God, Jackson. Who's their one? Christian Kirk?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. He doesn't. I mean, he's good, but he's not a one.
I don't love anybody in that division.
He's their one.
I think so, yeah. I don't love anybody in that division.
Yeah, give me the Texans.
AFC West.
In honor of my man Kansas City Mike. Chiefs, baby, Chiefs.
Denver. Oh, sorry. NFC East.
I've gone back and forth over this.
This one's tough. This one's really, really tough.
I reluctantly, I will take Shane's Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, I thought it was Shane's Cowboys. NFC.
Never on the Cowboys.
Are you going to give a pick, or are you just going to keep moderating?
I'm curious what your picks are.
Oh.
I can go through if you want me to.
No, it's fine.
No, real quick. AFC East, I'm going to go with the Jets, even though I don't like them. AFC North,
How come you just don't say it like after I say mine?
Well, because I was moving right through. You were rolling. AFC North, I'll do Bengals. AFC South, I got the Jags.
I hate your guts.
AFC West, I'm going Chargers.
What?
Yep. They're my worst to first. I've talked about this for weeks. When we keep talking about worst to first,
yeah, but most of that is the likely candidate. Not that you'd actually squeeze the trigger.
I think they're going. I think they're going to win the division.
Wow.
I think regular season.
Be gutsy.
I think regular season Kansas City is going to have a hard time caring about.
I want you to apologize to me and Justin Herbert.
For what?
For saying how overrated he is.
I didn't say he was overrated. I'd say he doesn't win very much.
Or so you taking like the future? So that's going
This
to happen.
dude literally took the Chargers.
So
Josh Palmer and Ladd McConkey and Everett.
Quentin Johnson.
Are you taking the future that's going to happen in like 7 years?
Nope, this year. Jim Harbaugh effect.
Dude, do you mind having your money tied up? Take a flyer on them, win the division. You're going to get tremendous.
Yeah, I'll
return.
get. I haven't looked up the odds, but I'm sure it's
it would
good
be
plus
incredible.
Money. I mean, you're talking about a.
I hope you're right, though.
There's a reason people don't win 3 straight Super Bowls. Like it's really hard to be locked in.
You're banking on their mental fatigue.
Yeah, because it's really hard to be locked in that long.
Because gosh, are they good at quarterback?
Yeah, they really are. I'm not saying they won't win the Super Bowl. I think it's going to be hard for them to be locked in for 17 games before that point.
It's going to go via the wild card all backwards, huh?
Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time people win a wild card all the time.
I don't know about that.
They've won it before. All the time's aggressive.
Yeah,
all the time's aggressive.
Yeah.
There's enough of a history of it. I feel comfortable with
I'm
it.
with you.
NFC East, I guess I go Cowboys.
Wow, what a fast Warhorse segment.
NFC North.
I'll take the Lions. It's a tough division.
I'm also taking the Lions. NFC South.
Falcons.
I don't have a better answer. I don't. NFC West.
I really, really, really want to say the Rams, but I don't have the guts. Reluctantly, I'll take the Niners.
I'm going to take the Rams. The 49ers are my regression candidate.
You want the real Warhorse pick?
What's that?
The Ravens +3. Lock it up. Winner.
He does love Ravens +3 tonight. That's Bet On It, brought to you by Warhorse Sportsbook. We'll be back to wrap up the show next. Wrapping up the show here on Hurrdat Sports Radio, AM 590, ESPN Omaha, ESPN Tri-Cities, KFR, and Lincoln. That's DBM Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. We are joined now by Sam Webb. He is part of the Michigan Insider 24/7 Sports. Sam, how are you this morning?
Doing great. And yourself?
My man, good to talk to you again. We're hanging in there. I've been asking this question, Sam, so you feel free to call me crazy. How is Michigan going to score this weekend? Right? Like, I've looked at this thank the Lord you laughed, because I was like, I'm not talking to that damn DB anymore. But, like, how are they going to score, Sam? Like, how do you envision that going?
So, I think it's a discovery process, to be honest with you. They have to figure out who they are. I think as you watch them evolve over the last couple of years, you got to remember they won the Big Ten championship in 2021 with Cade McNamara at quarterback. And Cade McNamara just threw a couple of touchdowns in the same game for the first time in a couple of seasons. So that ought to tell you something, that they were able to accomplish a Big Ten championship. This is not to disparage him, but it highlights what they were able to do in 2021 and why were they able to do it. They had an offensive line that was able to block loaded boxes, right, and do it routinely. And most teams don't do that. Most teams play the numbers game. They'll RPO it. They'll check out of it, right? They will not run in the loaded boxes the way that Michigan did. In 21 and 22, they were outstanding at it. They ran for over 3,000 yards in both of those seasons. Well, last year, they weren't as good at it. Between, the fact that teams had made adjustments and the line that they had just wasn't as adept at doing it, they had to account for how they dealt with loaded boxes in a different way. they had to use their quarterback to do it. J.J. McCarthy would read an extra defender. Now he would make plays. Your quarterback was a part of that chess game. And so now you got to figure out what you are. Do you have an offensive line that can block loaded boxes? And if you can't, do you have a quarterback that can help you account for it in different ways? I mean, are you going to have a quarterback that, that did what Stetson Bennett did for Georgia, former walk-on quarterback who they said, I remember when Michigan played them in an Orange Bowl, it was an RPO clinic. He RPO'd the hell out of Michigan in that game. He ran like 15 RPOs in the first half of that game and executed like 13 of them. It was a clinic. It was unbelievable. Or are you going to play more Alex Orji and say, you know what? We got a quarterback that can run. He can read that extra defender. We can run the football a little bit more with our quarterback being the guy who accounts for that in the run game a little bit more. And I think it's, like I said, it's a discovery process. I don't think they've given up on having a line that can block loaded boxes. They certainly weren't able to do an effective job of it last week. We'll see if they do a better job of it this week.
Sam, is Alex Orji able to throw it well enough to keep people honest enough to use those legs, or is that one of the things they're trying to discover?
Yeah, so I don't know. I think it's one of the things they're trying to discover, but I think asking that question is almost putting the cart before the horse. You got to find out. For Michigan, it starts with running the football. It doesn't matter how well you throw it if you can't run it if you're Michigan. You got to be able to run the football first. And you figure out throwing the football after that, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, they can run into stack boxes with Alex Orji. And if teams can slow them down throwing the football, so be it. But if they can't run the football, they can't do anything. So, that's, to me, is the long and the short of it. Whoever gives you the best chance of running the football is who has to be your quarterback. And that might be Davis Warren. If it's Davis Warren, you got to trust him a little more. Maybe it's trusting him a little bit more to take more shots. They threw like 2 shots in the game. One was a pick. He made the right read and underthrew it. And then they threw one more shot in the game, and, wide receiver gave up on the ball. And, it was a good throw, but the wide receiver gave up. You can't throw just 2 shots in a game versus Texas. So, or you say, hey, you know what? They have RPOs in the playbook. Michigan is not a heavy RPO team because they want to control their run-pass mix. If you're an RPO team, you're not doing that. The defense is determining how much you run and how much you pass, and that's not Michigan. They want to say, we want to run the football 60% of the time, so they're going to call run plays. Well, you might not be able to have that luxury if you're in the situation that Michigan is in and you have an offensive line that may not be able to block loaded boxes like they could in the past. And again, this is not me saying they can't do it. They just couldn't do it in week 1 because there were 4 or 5 explosive plays in the run game that should have been there last week, where you had one lineman making an execution assignment that if he makes that block,
it's a different.
You got your running back or your quarterback one-on-one with a safety. Last year that play is made. Last week it wasn't made.
All right, so Sam, and we're talking with Sam Webb, who and I love because not only is he entertaining, I like the football acumen as well. Portion of this, Sam, I like Quinn Ewers. I don't love Quinn Ewers, but I can look and see, 3,700 yards and 22-6 or whatever, and not. And give it context, right? When he's on a heater, he's really good. Sometimes he looks fairly pedestrian. Is Michigan close, or are they elite defensively? Because that, having an all-caliber player on each of the 3 levels, which you clearly do, are they elite right now where they can give Ewers enough problems where he's more bad than good?
Oh, they're elite. They're absolutely elite. Are they elite to the level that they were last year? I think it remains to be seen. I think what made Michigan, I think, really special defensively last year was how deep they were. Yeah. I mean, they could roll, 2, sometimes 3 deep at multiple positions, and their 11F starting group is, I would say, maybe the best in the country. I think
they're so good pre-snap. Their looks, based on what they play, is incredible.
Yeah. They can. Now, can they stay as fresh? See, that's you look at Michigan in the Rose Bowl, And most teams wear down. Michigan was in overtime against Alabama. Alabama wears teams down, but you had your defensive end bench press the number 7 pick in the draft into the backfield to blow up the play in overtime, right? A player who has him by 50 pounds. J.C. Latham had Michigan's defensive end by 50, 60 pounds, and he got bench pressed into the backfield to blow up the play. I mean, that's because your defensive end is fresh, right? He's able to do that because he's only playing 50 snaps a game. Well, I mean, is he playing 50 snaps a game this year? That's the question to me for Michigan is depth. Their first 11 is really good. I think, I think maybe 4 or 5 guys after that is good enough. I don't know after that. So to answer your question, can they put enough pressure on Quinn Ewers to make him look pedestrian? I think they can to a point, but not if their offense doesn't do their part. Their offense they can't go 0 for on third down conversions. They can't go 0 for in explosive plays like they did last week. They're going to have to absolutely do their part. And then Michigan, meanwhile, they're going to have to limit explosives on their side, and they're going to have an answer for RPOs. To me, it's you got to rely on your defense, on your defensive line to stop the run and say, okay, linebackers, there's no run pass conflict for you. In RPO situations, you're playing pass. The line is going to play the run, and this is how we're going to roll with it. You do those things, and the offense does its part. You can contend with Quinn Ewers, but you got to be able to withstand the haymakers in the first 20, 25 plays because they're going to try to make Michigan play from behind, make it a track meet early. Yeah. If Texas gets up two scores early in this game, Michigan's in trouble.
Sam, we'll get you out of here on this. What's the number in your head that you think Michigan needs to hold Texas to have a shot in this one?
Hold them under 24.
Okay.
Hold them under 24. Yeah, they hold them under 24, they can win this game.
It seems like 20 is insurmountable. I said with a 44-point total in Vegas, that puts 24-17 in play.
Yeah, you hold them under 24, which I think is and by that I mean I'm looking at how much can Michigan's offense score. This is not a world beater Texas defense. I heard Neuheisel was talking about Texas being more physical, and I'm like, man, you're telling me Texas is more physical because they beat up on Colorado State? I'm sorry, that's not convincing me. I'm not saying that they're not more physical, but they're gonna have to show me against someone other than Colorado State before I go buy in it. So, for me, this is not a defense that if you're Michigan, you're going into it saying we can't get on track because we struggle to get on track against Fresno State doesn't mean going against Texas, we have no hope. We made a lot of us errors against Fresno State. It wasn't Fresno State just shutting us down. It was us making a lot of technical errors in that game. If we can fix those things against Texas, when we're pulling, instead of pulling wide around the edge, pull tight to the center. If you do that, you got a player one-on-one with a safety. You do things like that, you're going to make some plays against Texas that you didn't against Fresno State. It can make it a different game.
That's Sam Webb, the Michigan Insider, part of 24/7 Sports. You can also catch him on WTKA. Sam, we appreciate the time. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, Sam.
All right, thanks, guys.
More Hurrdat Sports Radio tomorrow here, AM 590, ESPN Omaha, ESPN Tri-Cities, Camp 4 in Lincoln.